On a chilly night in the Central Valley of California, down to 47 degrees and a strong breeze here tonight. Boise State and Fresno State. And down on the sidelines with us tonight is Rob Stone. Rob?
Sean, Bronco head coaches will admit to us that they defer often to senior quarterback Brian Dinwiddie as far as the play calling process is concerned. He's earned the respect with his great film work and his overall football knowledge. And they'll come to him during the week with their game plan. If there's any plays in there that he doesn't like, whoop, they're out. End of discussion. Having said that, however, not a whole lot of pass plays that he's seen that he's ever turned down.
That is the truth, Rob, and he is the trigger man of the third highest scoring team in the country. Boise State averaging 43.6 points per game. But gentlemen, we saw another non-BCS team go down last night. TCU, they were undefeated. Boise State, a one-loss team. And as we were talking about at the end of the basketball game that preceded us here on ESPN2, a question about Boise State, as was the case with TCU, the schedule. They really haven't played a murderer's row to this point this season. They will get a very good test here tonight.
Well, and like TCU, Boise State has to play Fresno State on Fresno State's home turf. You saw Southern Mississippi do a nice job at home against TCU, and you can make one thing certain about Ryan Dinwiddie. That number 7 on his chest, it might as well be a big red X, because Fresno State will come after him.
Well, they're going to have to. There's no doubt about that. And Sean, you're absolutely right as far as scheduling, because Pat Hill for Fresno State, remember a couple of years ago, as you touched on, they were in this position at number 8 in the country at 6-0, wanting to be that non-BCS conference team to make it to a BCS bowl, and they were knocked out of that by Boise State. But Pat Hill has always taken on the Wisconsin, the Colorado States. This year it was Tennessee, it was number 1 Oklahoma, and for Boise State and Dan Hawkins, they haven't done that, but they still, they still feel, listen, we have a good record there, and the people who vote think that as well, at number 20 in the country.
What a wonderful job Dan Hawkins has done in his third season. He was an assistant coach under Dirk Cutter at Boise State, became the head coach when Dirk left to go to Arizona State, and has continued the winning in a big way. 12-1 last year. Many thought they'd fall off this year, losing 8 starters on offense, but they have not. Boise State won the toss and wanted to receive. Rhett Visentainer kicked it down inside the 5, and Chris Carr was chopped down at the 26-yard line. So here comes Dinwiddie, the senior from Elk Grove, California, which he told us yesterday is about a 2.5-hour drive from here, and he expects to have between 60 and 80 friends and relatives in attendance here tonight. He said there'd be even more, but some of them have high school football commitments tonight up near the capital here in California, as we now have to pronounce it, I guess. Play action pass to Dinwiddie on first down. And he's on target to Tim Gilligan, his leading receiver, with his 59th catch of the year. Good for a first down. The rest of the Boise State offense, Michael is their leading rusher. Swenson, mostly a blocker. Excellent wide receivers, an emerging talent, Derek Schumann, a true freshman at tight end. Up front, the best of the bunch is Darren College. And yes, folks, he is from North Pole, Alaska.
What an inroad to Santa.
Yeah. He's got the upper hand on all of us as we head toward the holiday season.
I know where my letter's going.
Rob Stone has been doing a little research for us on North Pole, Alaska. We'll check in with him on that later on. Dinwiddie managed to shovel it off to Michael. And what a play by Dinwiddie. He avoided a sack and turned it into a gain out to the 41-yard line. That's a gain of 3. The Fresno State defense has been much better in the last 3 weeks. During the last 3 games, they've given up just 28 points total. Morris, McIntyre, Booker up front along with Sanders. Excellent linebackers. Mark Daly, the leader of the group, with McGill and Garcia. And in the secondary, James Sanders is their big playmaker, coming off a 12-tackle game last week against their rival, San Jose State. Gain of 2 on the last play. 2nd and 8. The quick throw, and it is caught by Lawrence Beatty. He'll give him forward progress very near the first down marker at the 48-yard line. Therian Fontenot made the tackle for Fresno State.
But right off the bat, Mike, you can see the quick feet that Dinwiddie has, and also the quick release. He gets rid of the ball very quickly before the receiver makes his play.
He's a guy that you heard Rob Stone say that if he doesn't like pass plays, they're out. And you don't find quarterback not liking many pass plays. He's going to zip it around just like Rob said. And a lot of scouts, NFL scouts, have been watching him the last few weeks. And certainly the 6'1", 187 is something, you know, they're always looking at numbers and such. Is that going to be big enough? But there certainly isn't a question about the guy's arm, his decision-making, and what's big. It looks like they're going to be a little short here for the first down. What's big in the NFL nowadays, guys, is no turnovers, and that is something that Ryan Dinwiddie really excels at.
As we mentioned, just 2 interceptions all year, 22 touchdowns. And a career efficiency rating of 168.77. His career ended right now. That would be the best in the history of Division I-A football. The record was 163.6 by Danny Werfel of Florida. 3rd down and inches. The Broncos the best team in the WAC. On 3rd down at 44%. Dinwiddie. You guys said not very big, but he didn't need to be all that big on that play. He needed just a couple of inches and appeared to get it.
He kind of was bouncing around there, turned his back, was trying to push backwards. And this is the team, we talk about their offense, guys, about 500 yards a game. They run more than they pass.
Well, the thing about their offense is they give you a lot of window dressing. I mean, they run so many different formations, but they will run the same play. But you don't realize it because they give you a different look. 2 tight ends, 3 wide receivers, single back, no back. You don't realize the different formations are hiding the same play they may run several times.
Only Oklahoma and Texas Tech averaging more than the 43.6 per game of the Broncos. Michael weaved his way ahead for a yard, tackled by Brian Morris, the defensive end. Morris is a senior, one of the 13 seniors playing in their final home game here. They were all introduced before the game out at midfield just moments before the kickoff. A lot of them had their relatives on hand, and I saw Jim Donnan on ESPN News the other day talking about how he used to hate as a coach senior day. He doesn't want them thinking about their mama and daddy. They wants another thing about hitting somebody in the mouth.
I thought you were going to get sentimental and said he hated seeing the seniors leave.
Dinwiddie with all day to throw and throws it deep, and it is dropped by T.J. Acree. He was wide open by a couple of Acrees, and he dropped it. Juan Dials had the coverage.
These are the routes that we're talking about, the next level of scouts liking that this guy does. Gets out, wide open, puts the ball right on the mark. Oh, boy. Well, feel free to look that one in, huh?
Yeah, and the thing that gets you irritated, you get the right play called, you get great protection, you get the guy wide open, and you drop the ball. I mean, you do everything right except catch it.
And now the crowd into it. They sold almost all the tickets, but with the cool temperatures here tonight, a lot of empty seats, and a deflected pass is caught by Beatty. Ball looked like it wasn't going to get to Beatty, but it was deflected en route and winds up in a 24-yard gain and a first down for Boise State inside the 25-yard line.
Oh, watch Marshall get his hand on it.
Well, he does a nice job tipping it, and just how Acree didn't concentrate on the ball, you see Beatty does. And the ball gets tipped, changes direction in flight, keeps his eyes on it, moves his hands to it. Great concentration.
That's a team thing. One guy drops, the other guy counts. Okay,
picking up the slack. Yeah.
They spotted the ball back at the 27. 1st and 10 from there. Michael again. And he got stood up by James Sanders. They mentioned he is the most productive player on the defense for Fresno State. We spoke with Dan Brown, the defensive coordinator, yesterday. He raved about Sanders. We mentioned the 12 tackles last week against San Jose State. He also had 2 sacks. 3.5 of those tackles were behind the line of scrimmage.
He ran into me in pregame.
Did it hurt?
You know what it did? I was walking along the sideline. A wide receiver ran an out route. He tried to cover it. It was running full speed. Hit me in the shoulder.
You got hurt by a DB?
Yeah, talk about an embarrassment.
Deep handoff to Michael, and he's cut down by Todd Garcia. Nice play by the linebacker, the junior from Corcoran, California.
Here's the thing about this offense. I said they run more than they pass. Coming in tonight, they've had 420 rushing attempts. and 361 passing attempts. You look at the uniform, it looks like the Denver Broncos of the National Football League, and the O-line here is basically the same. You don't have anybody over 300 pounds. They're lighter guys. They like to move. They like to pull, but they're not very big, so at times they can be overpowered in the running game.
As you watch this offense, it will resemble Oregon's offense. If you watch them a lot, you'll see the Oregon's influence. We'll talk about that as the game goes along.
Out of the shotgun on third down. Flag down to the line of scrimmage. Dinwiddie throws and has his man, Tim Gilligan. If it's a good play, it's a first down to the 11-yard line, but the flag was thrown by the official along the line of scrimmage. And it'll come back. Rich Collin is the referee leading the WAC officiating crew.
Even though this one's coming back, Rod.
Illegal formation on the offense. 6 men on the line of scrimmage. 5 yards, previous spot. Repeat third down.
As I talked about Dinwiddie the last 2 times against Fresno, completing over 72% of his passes. He is accurate. He is right on the button, whether he's rolling out, whether he's staying in the pocket. Here he's on the move, throwing right, and it's right there.
Well, we talked about the feet, and that's what the scouts like. You get him moving. He's not great. He's not a fast runner, but he's got good feet. He can throw off of either foot and be very, very accurate with them.
Thrown for over 8,500 yards in his career. Has been on target on this opening drive, the 10th play. And it is caught by Gilligan, first down. And he took a late hit out of bounds, and they'll add that to the end of the play. Gilligan out of bounds at the 16. And then it was Nate Ray, the former quarterback, and now a safety, who hit him way out of bounds.
Yeah, there's no question about this. Just watch this. Watch how far out of bounds he is. All right, he's run out. He's out. He's dead. He's dead. He's out of bounds, dead, and he gets banged again. Now, he's giving himself up right there.
Well, it was a cheap shot on Gilligan that might have turned the game around here 2 years ago. At the time, Boise State was down by 14 points. Gilligan was back to receive a punt. And with the ball still about 20 feet up in the air, according to Gilligan, he got laid out while waiting for the punt to come down by Kendall Edwards. That ignited the Broncos as Gilligan wound up in the hospital. They came back to win that game 35-30, dealing Fresno its first loss of the year. Now Michael, he gets banged out of bounds inside the 5 by D. Meza. And there's Gilligan already in conversation with some of his old pals. And here's that play again. Wow.
Oh, wow. And Mike, I think that hit, as much as anything, led to the change of the halo rule.
Right.
Because it was one where people were getting 5-yard penalties. Shots like that,
and it was saying,
worked terrible.
Sometimes it'd be worth the 5 yards.
Right.
To go ahead and get a shot at that. That was an awful shot.
Second and goal from the 3. That shot left him with a bruised larynx. He had trouble talking for a few days. Michael, nice cut, and a touchdown. Boise State, an impressive opening drive.
You said it perfectly, Sean. An impressive opening drive. A mixture of run and pass. The run wasn't very successful, but it can be once the pass starts to loosen it up. And as you also mentioned, a nice cutback by Michael for the touchdown.
He finds the end zone. That's his 29th career rushing touchdown. Tyler Jones, the junior from Boise, on to kick the extra point, the first. More than a little movement along the line.
You know, all I know about that opening drive was that Mr. Dinwiddie was totally on target.
Boy, it was an impressive drive.
I don't think he made one bad throw that drive at all.
Mentioned his 29th rushing touchdown. It's his 35th overall, Sean. And
Offside. Defense with contact. Half the distance for goal.
only about 33, I believe, short of Brock Forsey's record of 68. So probably not going to catch that, but certainly 35 total touchdowns. Pretty nice.
Forsey was their lead runner last year. Has gone on to the NFL with the Chicago Bears, playing mostly on special teams. And the kick from Jones up and good, and the late flag thrown this time.
Oh, boy. You know, although this has been a pretty spirited rivalry the last 2 years, it's not been dirty. It's been a real clean, hard-fought rivalry by and large.
Well, except for that punt.
Yeah.
Yeah. That kind of, yeah.
Well, we got 2 personal fouls already now in Fresno, so maybe they're looking to change that too, Rod.
You know, maybe there's some lingering effects of that 67-21 loss last year.
Dead ball, personal foul. After the try, 15 yards will be enforced from the kickoff.
Somebody hang 67 points up on you, you get a little bit irritated, I guess.
Well, we mentioned they don't have much of a history in terms of the length of this rivalry, but that doesn't mean they can't talk some serious trash. We're underway here in Fresno. Ryan Dinwiddie leading a 12-play, 74-yard opening drive. They took 4:45 off the clock. Of course, the only incompletion for Dinwiddie was the drop by Acree. And Michael took care of the touchdown from 3 yards out.
Say this one goes out of the end zone.
Picking off from the 50 because of the personal foul. Wow, he really went out on a limb there.
Well, yeah, that's what I do.
Well, we mentioned the collision on the punt play 2 years ago set the tone. Fresno hoping for revenge last year in Boise, did not get it. What a night as the Broncos kept our own Heather Cox and the cheerleaders busy doing push-ups all night long. 67 points, a then school record 688 total yards. They've surpassed that this season. And Dinwiddie, 19 out of 22 in that ball game. That despite the fact that he was playing on a very sore leg, was just coming back from a broken ankle. Paul Pinniger is the quarterback for Fresno, going deep on the first play and incomplete. Looking for Bernard Berrien. Pinniger, the sophomore quarterback, had a terrific freshman year as their starter last year, was a freshman All-American and the WAC freshman of the year. Injured at the start of this year, missed the first 5 games with a torn pectoral muscle. Has played much better the last couple of weeks. Took him a few weeks to get back into form, but he's a big reason why they've won 4 in a row. Second and 10. And a toss to Dwayne Wright. He bounced off a hit and goes out of bounds near a first down. They're going to mark him out back near the 28-yard line. Credit Gabe Franklin with the tackle. The rest of the offense for Fresno State. Wright has supplanted Rodney Davis as their leading rusher. Berrien, the big play threat at wide receiver. They do have a deep receiver group. And up front, a very young offensive line. 2 redshirt freshmen, 2 sophomores, and the junior is in his first year in the program. Edwards, the left guard, is a junior college transfer. Keep an eye on the center, Kyle Young. Coach Pat Hill says he's the best center he's ever coached in college. Third down and short, and they pick up the first down on a quick pass to Berrien. The defense for Boise State overshadowed because of the prolific offense, but they're the best defense in the conference in scoring defense, giving up 16 points per game. Roberts, Allen, Olden, and Williams the front 4. Corey Hall, a hard-hitting freshman, between Avalos, their leading tackler, and Berger, who's a converted safety. And in the secondary, Brown, Nurse, Carr, and Franklin. A good group along the back 4, and Nurse, the best of that bunch. First and 10 for Fresno State. And it's right again. Out near another first down. Chris Carr made the tackle.
Well, I'll tell you what, if Fresno State can run the ball, Rod, would that be a bonus for them? Because, you know, Boise State, as you mentioned, Sean, their defense overshadowed by the offense. They're number 1 in rush, pass, total, or not pass, I'm sorry, rush, total, and scoring defense in the WAC. Their weakness has been against the pass. So if Fresno State can do some of that tonight, it'll really open up the pass more.
Well, and they're running against an 8-man front. I mean, Boise State, 8 guys in the box. They're even bringing down Wes Nurse, so they have 9 guys in the box, and Fresno State still running the ball.
Hand off to Wright, and another first down. You saw those numbers, the rush defense for Boise State among the best in the country. We asked Ron Collins, the defensive coordinator, sometimes when you have a number like that, it can be a byproduct of, well, teams throw so well against you, they don't try to run. Might that be the case with your team? He said, we'll find out in this game against Fresno State.
Well, one thing about Fresno State, you know, Pat Hill's an old offensive line coach. He's a tough guy. I mean, he's going to make you prove that he cannot run the football.
They've had a 1,000-yard rusher here at Fresno State 7 of the last 9 seasons, including the last 2. Right with a chance to go over 1,000 of the year tonight. Quick throw and catch by Marquet Davis, and Gabe Franklin made the tackle. Short of the first down at the 50-yard line. First catch of the night for the senior, who is the brother of Rodney Davis, who set the school record in rushing yardage last year, guys, over 1,500 yards last season, but just hasn't been anywhere near as good, and Wright has taken the running back job away from him.
One of those things, you know, you want to put your best 11 on the field, and Rodney Davis has been unproductive, and that's what happens. If they're not producing, you're not on the field.
That's kind of harsh, though.
Well, yeah, it's the way it is, though.
No tenure in college football. Good throw by Pinniger, and a catch made by Berrien for a first down to the 38-yard line of Boise State. That's a 12-yard gain. Julius Brown made the tackle.
Pinniger takes a shot after this, but again, he's a big one. You know, 6'4", about 220, 225. He can take some hits. Now, Sean, I'm going to go back quickly to what you said about, you know, the pass defense. It can also be a product of the fact that they're winning games, you know, 77-14, 50-12, 51-21. Teams have to pass a lot against them.
That's right.
And can, you know, gain some yards on them through the air.
And go away from the run. Therefore, good run defense stats. There's Wright again. Davis stopped right around the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play for Wright, who starts the night with 859 yards. Alex Guerrero made the tackle. He's had 3 100-yard rushing games this season, including a high of 177 against Louisiana Tech.
It's going to be interesting to watch Pinniger and see how he holds up with deep balls, because that bad shoulder, you know, kept him out. 7 weeks he didn't even throw a ball. He's just now getting back to form.
We saw this yesterday. He thinks he's at 100% now. Marquet Davis. Oh, wide receiver screen. Got down to the 33-yard line. He told us something yesterday, Paul did, that I didn't know. He said the pectoral muscle doesn't really factor in that much in throwing. It's much more of a shoulder-related exercise. So the torn pec wasn't as much of a problem as the fact that he just hadn't thrown in so long. The shoulder had sort of lost its strength.
Yeah, you get that frozen shoulder kind of syndrome. And, you know, 7 weeks, you're a quarterback, you don't throw, and you lose your strength.
That's why I never developed my chest muscle, so I wouldn't carry it.
Here's the pitch, and a good cutback by Matt Rivera. And he's near another first down. Inside the 30, near the 28, where Corey Hall, the redshirt freshman from Glens Ferry, Idaho, one of about 20 Idaho natives on this Boise State roster, he made the tackle.
Watch the legs here. Watch this little whoop, moving them legs out of the way. Interesting decision here now, 4th and a couple of inches, but with Pat Hill, not really a question, is it?
Well, no, he's also he's a bit of an issue with his field goal kicker. He's got a bad ankle, and it's a little tougher on the longer distance kick. So, right decision to go here.
4th down, less than a yard. Bryson Sumlin in on short yardage, still battling. And if it's the far official who marks the ball, I don't think he has it. He didn't get to that yellow line.
Need all the players to get out of the way. Come on, guys.
Ooh. Oh, we're going to test the yellow line again.
Sure are.
Oh, boy, it looks short.
Looked like Cam Hall came in and hit him and almost hit him forward and then started pulling him backwards for a safety.
You know, you're at home, Pat Hill. You're supposed to get some home cooking on the spot. He did not get a good spot there.
I agree with you.
And he did not get the first down.
I agree with you. I don't think he got a very good spot.
Pat worn that hat before, huh? He looks like those baseball players wearing the same cap all season long.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, that's his lucky hat. Not so lucky so far tonight. 5:27 left in the first quarter. The 20th ranked Broncos lead 7-0. They'll have the ball back after the 4th down stop.
ESPN2's College Football Friday. Brought to you by Coinstar Coin Counting. You give us coins, we give you cash. And by Acura. Experience the performance today at your local Acura dealer.
Boise State looking for its 10th win of the season here tonight as they take on Fresno State at Bulldog Stadium. Sean McDonough, Rod Gilmore, Mike Golick, Rob Stone, our ESPN2 College Football Friday crew. Delighted to have you with us. The winner of this game takes a huge step toward the WAC title. Boise State with a win tonight would clinch a tie, at least a tie. They have 2 tough games left against Nevada and Hawaii. On the reverse, it's Lawrence Beatty near another first down. Out of bounds at the 38-yard line, tackled by Bryce McGill. College football Saturday. It's rivalry week presented by Pontiac. And 2 great rivalries in the South. Clemson and South Carolina on ESPN2 at 7. The Gamecocks likely to get a bowl bid with a win. And then at 7:45 on ESPN, Alabama and Auburn. The Iron Bowl. A disappointing season for Auburn with national championship hopes starting out 6-5 now, but a win in the Iron Bowl cures a lot of ills. Donnie Heck, the running back. And he picks up the first down out to the 42-yard line. Well, we mentioned Rob Stone's been doing his homework. Where is North Pole, Alaska, Rob?
It is just 15 miles outside of Fairbanks. That's right. I got my little map out there. It's the hometown of Tarrant College. And no, Sean, Chris Kringle was not his head football coach, and Little Elves don't deliver the newspaper to his hometown. But it is where Santa's letters get sent. They get postmarked there, sent back to the kids. Kind of a little Christmassy tourist crap town. 60-foot Santa Claus there. Guess how cold it was out there. I know you guys were a little nippy up there in your box. Today in the North Pole, negative 33.
Wow.
I hope that's with the wind chill.
Well, there's that cold front that's been moving down. David Michael, the ball carrier. You know, they're going to have that hockey game outside in Edmonton. They're talking about the temperature could be around 0.
Oh, did you see they were interviewing those guys today? Did it look cold there? That's going to be brutal. But you know what? That place is going to be packed. What a great idea they're
You
doing.
guys watching TV all day, the Weather Channel or something? What?
I love it.
I missed that.
Well, unlike you, we were not sitting by the pool having people feed us grapes.
Oh, okay. Well, you could have come. You were invited.
Experiencing the great agriculture here, the Valley. You see the V on the back of the helmets of Fresno State. That stands for Valley. David Michael caught the pass and then got dropped for a loss on the play back to the 41-yard line by Todd Garcia. The former walk-on made a couple of big plays here early for Fresno State.
Boy, that's a great play by Garcia because if you're an offense, you live for your running back to have a matchup one-on-one on a linebacker. That's what happens. Dinwiddie checks down. Garcia gets there pretty quickly, and Michael can't shake him. That's a great job by Garcia hanging on.
Yeah, see the way he took away the outside cut, made him come back inside where the help was?
Where all your friends are.
3rd down and 11. They were a perfect 3 for 3 on their opening touchdown drive on 3rd down. Dinwiddie going deep and 2 deep. Looking for T.J. Acree. And Richard Marshall had the coverage.
Well, that was airing it out right there. That's something you'll see Fresno State do.
Well, if you're Fresno State, I like the approach. Okay, Gilligan is not going to be the guy who's going to get all the balls.
Right.
We're going to make Dinwiddie look to the other side. So they doubled Gilligan and said, all right, go the other way.
Kyle Stringer, the freshman from Humboldt, Texas, who walked on about 2 weeks before the season started. They weren't sure what they would do for a punter. He's had a good year. And there's Berrien hit immediately and a flag thrown. Donnie Heck was down there in coverage. A 39-yard punt. And a flag thrown. Even without the halo rule, apparently he interfered with the opportunity of Berrien to make the catch.
Boy, he either did or was either getting shoved in the back as he was going into the return man. One of the two. Yeah, that's what I thought, yeah.
It looked like he timed it perfectly, putting the hit on Berrien. Pat Hill didn't like the call.
Well, it was a good call. It was an excellent call. The gunner got ahead of the jam man, and the guy had to turn around and push him from behind.
On the return, illegal block in the back. On the returning team, 10-yard penalty for final foul, first down.
See, you can see right at the bottom of your screen.
Yep,
absolutely.
Good call. It was Therian Fontenot who was guilty of the illegal block. And this is our final regular season edition of College Football Friday. There have been some memorable moments and great games, and throughout the night we'll be looking back at our top Friday night moments of the year. We talked about some of our great Friday night moments, and perhaps this was the game that turned Michigan's season around. Down 28-7 going to the fourth quarter against Minnesota. Braylon Edwards, a 52-yard touchdown reception. Chris Perry, a 10-yard touchdown run. And then in the final minute, Garrett Rivas, a 33-yard field goal to give Michigan an amazing come-from-behind win. 38-35, they outscored Minnesota 31-7 in the fourth quarter. Here it's 7-0. Boise State with the lead. Fresno State first and 10 from its own 11-yard line. And Wright is ahead for very little.
Let's talk about that game. That Minnesota-Michigan game, John Navarre. He was great. He was fantastic.
He was. Well, remember, he had gotten a lot of grief throughout the season of not winning the big game or the tough game. But even before that, how about Marion Barber? Yeah. He ran all over that Michigan team. They had over 400 yards rushing, and they lost. I mean, you had to feel so incredibly bad for Minnesota after that one.
But Navarre's going to get a lot of heat if he doesn't have a great game against Ohio State. He struggled against them the last 2 years, and that's unfair. He's had a great career.
Well, that win that made it possible for Michigan to salvage the season was rapidly slipping away and set up that game for the Big Ten title tomorrow in Ann Arbor. Ohio State playing not only for the Big Ten title, but trying to keep the upper hand in the race to play Oklahoma in all likelihood in the national championship game at the Sugar Bowl. Most people think Michigan's going to win on their home field tomorrow, but Ohio State's been underestimated before.
How about, yeah, you're not kidding, but have we seen since the BCS started that the team ranked second as a 7-point underdog?
All I know is that this is the best weekend in college football.
I'm telling you, what a
looking forward to it.
After the run by Pinniger got him to the 16, here's third down. Pinniger with time, throws, incomplete, broken up, intended for Marquez Davis, and Gabe Franklin made a nice defensive play. Gabriel's a junior from Hayward, California.
Good play by Franklin, but that ball needed to be to the outside a little more.
Mike Lingua on the punt. And Tim Gilligan waiting for the punt. And hoping that he won't get laid out while the ball is still 20 feet in the air.
Memories.
Gonna have to catch this one on the bounce. Very high bounce. Gilligan from the 39. And he cannot get away. It's Fontenot again. In on the tackle. He was guilty of that illegal block in the back a moment ago. Loss of 3 after a 44-yard punt. Tomorrow, number 4, Ohio State, and number 5, Michigan get you started on ABC's coverage of college football at noon Eastern. They'll play for the Big Ten title. And then Oklahoma, Texas Tech, leading regional coverage at 3:30. They are the top 2 scoring offenses in the nation. And we look at the BCS standings. TCU suffering its first loss last night. Hopes of being in a BCS bowl game dash. But there are a lot of teams. Ohio State, USC, LSU, foremost among them, thinking about playing Oklahoma for the national title.
The amazing thing is you not only have to take care of your own business, but if you're a USC fan, you need to root for Washington State. You need to root for LSU. You need to be a fan of a lot of other teams for the way this system works right now. Because even if Ohio State wins, USC could still jump them depending on what happens with some of their opponents.
Haven't we learned yet? Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I mean, everybody was talking about TCU and what's going to happen. TCU, now they're out. I mean, this happens every week. You know, just win your game, and don't worry about the computers right now.
It's so much fun to talk about that.
Well, it does always seem to have a way of working out. Dinwiddie scrambling. And he's out to the 28-yard line. There was a penalty for a personal foul against Boise State during the punt. So that brought the ball back to the 21-yard line. Garrett McIntyre was chasing Dinwiddie. That would have been harder for Ryan last year. We mentioned he broke his ankle in their game against Arkansas at the start of the year. Missed 4 games. Did not start against Fresno State, but came back to play in that game early in the second quarter. Wound up going 19 for 22, but not only was he playing with his leg heavily taped because of the broken ankle, but when he went to cut tape off that leg earlier in the week in practice, he gouged his leg so deeply that he needed 30 stitches to stitch up the wound when he was playing with those stitches in his leg.
He's a tough guy, and, you know, last year we saw him the day before the game, and he was trying to hide the fact that he had the bad ankle, that he had the stitches put in there. He was trying to hide it from him. He finally broke down and said, yeah, I did this yesterday, and it's bad. But we couldn't believe he was going to go out and play with those 30 stitches, but he did.
And what a game he had. He's at 2 500-yard throwing games this year. The quick pass is caught by Gilligan, and he is off to the races. Tim Gilligan all the way for a touchdown, 73 yards.
Tim Gilligan. 73 yards.
Fantastic in route. He got to the inside of James Sanders, and we've talked about the accuracy of Dinwiddie. And the receivers have to love playing for this guy. Just run your route and keep running, and your quarterback will hit you in stride. You can't ask for anything better than that. Just catch the ball and keep on going. Sanders found themselves on the outside and fell down after that, and that's all she wrote.
It was man coverage. You put your corners out there on an island with Gilligan.
Oh,
Gilligan gets off the island.
Wondering when the first one was going to come in. Very good.
Tyler Jones adds the extra point. Gilligan almost gave up football after that vicious hit he took while trying to return the punt here 2 years ago. Stuck with it and has become one of the best receivers in Boise State history.
There you go. Inside. He got the inside on Sanders. Again, man coverage. He did the little shake to the outside, then came inside. Look at the ball right there. He's not even breaking stride. Sanders knows he's beat, knows he's in man coverage, so he makes that dive out there, knows he's going to be in a lot of trouble, and Gilligan goes all the way off the island.
Cardinal sin. Cardinal sin. When you're locked up like that on an island, you never let the receiver inside you.
Right.
You can't let him inside. But Gilligan, give him credit, he managed to work his way in there. Got off the island. I got a question for you.
Please stop at that right now, because I know we have to put an end to
I
that.
got a real question, though.
Yeah.
Was Gilligan his first name or his last name? Or was it just Gilligan?
Sean?
I have no idea. Nor do I particularly care at this juncture if you want to know the truth.
I don't know the answer to that.
I know. It's a good question.
ESPN poll question.
That is a good question.
Already 100 yards receiving tonight for Gilligan. That is his average per game for the year. Here's Adam Jennings returning the kickoff with Tyler Jones. Out near the 30-yard line. Let's check in again with Rob Stone.
Gilligan play in high school. They saw him play in high school, knew he'd be a great receiver, so they were a little surprised when he walked onto the team and told him he wanted to be a kicker. I mean, hey, you know, so they said, all right, well, you know, do your kicking. And then he finally realized, hey, I can play at the level with these guys, talk to the coaches, and they were very happy. He came to his senses and went to his natural calling as a receiver.
He was in the program for 2 years here before he really earned the opportunity to play regularly and was put on scholarship after 2 years in the program. Wayne Wright carries on what will likely be the last play of the first quarter. Gilligan said, yeah, I didn't think I was big enough or good enough to be a receiver. Then I watched the receivers, and I figured I might have a chance. Dan Hawkins said we knew at the very least he could return punts. So we were surprised when he said, I really just want to work out with the kickers and try to be a kicker.
I'm not buying it. I don't think he was ever a kicker. I think he was always a wide receiver.
Hidden in the kicker's body.
14-0, Boise State after one quarter here in Fresno.
It's Keeper seconds. That time is Keeper seconds.
Boise State leads 14-0 after one quarter. The 20th ranked Broncos 9-1 for the year, and their only loss a heartbreaker by 2 points at Oregon State. It's an Oregon State team that Fresno State defeated here in Fresno by 2 points back on September 5th. 2nd and 9 for Fresno State. First play of the second quarter. Gilligan's pass is intercepted. Intercepted and run back by Travis Berger inside the 5-yard line.
Now, Berger does a great job. He's hanging to the outside. He's just watching Pinniger. And then Pinniger decides to go with the shorter route. There was an underneath route and over the top. You'd be over to the right. You don't see Berger right in the picture there, but he's just waiting on the outside, reading Pinniger's eyes. And as the receiver turns, he drifts to the outside right where Berger is. It just cuts right in front of it.
There you see he came off of his guy who was taking him out, and a good defender will always recognize if there are two receivers in your area and one's trying to take you out, the other one is going to be coming in.
And Mark Berger down at the 5, first and goal from the 5. They hand it off to the man coming across the formation, Lawrence Beatty, and he gets inside the 5, and that's all. Well, could you say, Mike, given where you had lunch today, that Travis was an in-and-out Berger in coverage there?
With the Berger, that's very, very good, Sean.
I like it better than Gilligan.
You do, huh? the popular place out here in the West is in Berger.
Ryan Dinwiddie was saying he couldn't wait to come back to California because he had to have a different kind of burger. I don't want to give them the cheap plug.
No,
but for advertising.
But he loves popular. It's a popular spot. And Dinwiddie loves it. I'm sure he loves the double-double.
They do make the best French fries.
Option look for Dinwiddie and a huge hole and a touchdown. Then he got a little bump, and here comes a flag. Wasn't much of a hit by Marshall, but it was totally unnecessary, about 3 or 4 yards deep in the end zone. And Fresno State is not playing very intelligent football here in the first quarter plus. You can go ahead and put the touchdown on the board because this is going to be for a late hit in the end zone, I think, against Richard Marshall.
Unless they get Dinwiddie for throwing the ball back at him. Dinwiddie threw the ball back at the guy who hit him.
There'll be 2 dead ball fouls.
Both of them. There you go.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on the offense. A dead ball personal foul on the defense. They will cancel.
Well, that's the way out of it. Call it on both of them.
And it's 20-0 on the run by Dinwiddie.
How about the block on Mark Daly, the linebacker? As he tries to come inside there, just cut him down to where he was on the ground. He couldn't get to Dinwiddie.
That is Dinwiddie's 10th rushing touchdown of the season. That is the single season record for Boise State quarterback. Low snap. And a kick up and through by Jones. Good job by the holder, Mike Sanford. Travis Berger's first interception of his senior season. Set up the touchdown run by Ryan Dinwiddie. And Boise State looking to clinch at least a tie for the WAC title, leading 21-0 against Fresno State, the team they beat 67-21 last year in Boise. Tyler Jones kicks off. Line drive kick down to Bernard Darien. He's out to the 25. Of course, it's Friday night. That means great high school football. Here's Reese with our showcase.
And Sean, it's the Iowa Class 4A state championship in the Unidome at Cedar Falls, where Trev Alberts used to run wild as a running back in the day. This is Cedar Rapids, Washington in the dark. Warren Seuss, the doctor, finding Adrian Arrington, who go 80 yards to tie up Valley of West Des Moines. They're all locked up at 7 at the break.
Adrian Arrington, 6'4", 185-pounder. He's already been selected to play in the U.S. Army All-American Bowl with the top seniors around the country.
How come those two schools aren't in the top 25?
In what? In the country?
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Wayne Wright out to the 27. Have you seen the other 25 that are in the top 25? Would you like to tell us who they should be in there ahead
Not
of?
every one of them, I haven't. I've seen De La Salle.
I was going to say, we knew that one. I was going to say, when was that one
leaves
coming
24
up?
others.
You know? But, you know.
Are they better than De La Salle?
No, I don't think anybody's better than Dale.
Well, we established that already. Wow.
148 and counting or something like that.
Recurring weekly theme here on College Football Friday. Bryson Sumlin was in at running back. He went in motion to empty the backfield. And a quick pass to Joe Fernandez. Out to the 28. He's the son of the former Oakland Raider Mervyn Fernandez. And we take a look at our game track.
Well, it was all Ryan Dinwiddie. First quarter coming out, putting the ball right on the money and mostly to Gilligan. He was just really great with it.
He did a great job, and then Boise State gets the stop on the 4th down that Fresno State goes for it.
I think we got untracked there.
We did get untracked on the track.
The track went off the track.
Yeah.
We'll get back to it.
Sometimes it's hard to put them little wheels on the track.
Third down and 5. Fresno State really needs something good to happen here. Gilligan with a lot of time. Now he runs out of time and throws for a first down. Bernard Berrien, who missed all of last season after a knee injury early in the opener against Wisconsin, hasn't really been fully back to form this year. The senior from Winton, California. About an hour from here, he told us yesterday. Julius Brown made the tackle.
Yeah, he's a guy, as you said, the knee, and then this year he had a little bit of a hip flexor, and you see him down on the field for the game. He's very slight, a very slender legs on him, and you wonder if he can get nicked up some before. What a great-looking athlete when he gets in the open field.
Henniger ran out of time, got back across the line of scrimmage. Barely. Andrew Browning made the hit. He's from Lake Oswego High School in Oregon, where his high school coach is Steve Corey, the son of Dick Corey, longtime pro coach and a terrific coach, longtime assistant to Dick Vermeil. And Dick Corey is the uncle of Dan Brown, who is the defensive coordinator at Fresno State.
It's like 6 degrees of separation
It is.
there.
Browning played for Steve Corey.
That's effective. Browning played lacrosse in high school. Love that sport. Hit someone with a stick. Your story was better than that.
Thank you. 2nd and 10. Quick pass to Berrien. He made the first man miss. He has a first down. Finally taken down by Andy Avalos across midfield and into Boise State territory near the 49-yard line. A gain of 15.
You talk about the frustrating season for Bernard Berrien. Here's a nice move for him. But I also think it's not just the hip flexor. I think it's the people around him, too. Both quarterbacks who played this year, Pinniger and Jeff Grady, both banged up.
Right.
That hurt him. He couldn't get down the field. There was no ball going down the field to him. An offensive line that was younger early in the season. They just matured. This guy, he didn't have enough help around him as well as that hip flexor problem.
Pretty nice names he's ahead of there.
Yeah, did that a couple of years ago before he got hurt, the single season mark. Wayne Wright looked like he might have been grabbed by a face mask on the way by, but there is no flag. Andy Avalos and Corey Hall, a couple of linebackers, combining on the stop on Wright. He's a sophomore from San Diego, junior college transfer from West Hills here in California, where he rushed for over 1,000 yards last year.
Boy, Fresno really needs a drive. You know what? They don't have to hit the big play. They don't need. It's a nice drive. Get down, get some points, and get in some kind of a rhythm.
They are not as explosive. Not as much of a big play offense as Boise State. That's a lateral to right. And he gets very little. If anything, back to the line of scrimmage, and that's all. Gabriel Franklin made the tackle. And the natives getting a little bit restless here at Bulldog Stadium in Fresno. Near capacity crowd on hand. Most of them hoping to watch Fresno State win its 5th in a row. Sean McDonough with Rod Gilmore, Mike Golick, and Rob Stone. Our producer Scott Matthews, director John McDonough. And our ESPN2 College Football Friday crew. 3rd down and 10. Out of the shotgun, Pinniger. Runs out of time, has running room. Puts his head down and dives close to the first down. Looks like he has it. Inside the 40, chopped down by Corey Hall.
Yeah, that gets them close to a first down, may pick up the first down, but they're really going to need a lot more out of Berrien. I mean, here's the hole. You see why Pinniger pulled it down to go pick up the first down. But Mike, Berrien, what he did a couple years ago was amazing. He could take over a ball game. You may recall the Wisconsin game. He just kind of burst on the scene.
Separation. He got separation.
Exactly. They need that from him tonight.
Yeah, and that's something, maybe the injuries have taken effect or whatever's taken effect, something has, but yeah, he has not been the player he was a couple of years ago, and they're short.
Well, they have to go for it. Down by 21. They're in Boise State territory. They were stopped on 4th and inches in the first quarter.
You know, a receiver like that, you want this to be higher.
Yep.
You want a guy like that, 14, 15, 16 yards per catch.
Well, they've run an awful lot of the quick screens with him, and it's just not the same as getting him down the field, and he's a real impact player. I think he's going to be a good player at the next level.
I agree.
Going right. Here's the tailback. I thought it was just a quarterback sneak. No, deep handoff to right, and he has the first down. We saw Dinwiddie at his size spin for a first down on 4th and inches, and there's Pinniger. 6'4", 220. He hasn't gotten the call on either 4th and inches.
I agree with you, Sean. Absolutely. A guy that size nowadays, the quarterbacks can take the snap, step right or left, and then go. But, you know, here, they made it. They got it. It was only their 7th or 8th time this year they've gone for it on 4th down.
Pat Hill's an old offensive line coach.
Yes, he is.
He doesn't want a quarterback.
Oh, he's got a 225-pound quarterback.
Yeah, but he's not a hard runner.
Yeah, well, he doesn't have to run hard for 2 inches. Fall.
1st and 10. And a handoff to Adam Jennings, the wide receiver, coming around, the sophomore. He got to the 33-yard line. Jennings hasn't been as involved in the passing game this year. 34 receptions last year, only 9 this year, but he did carry the ball. Last week, he and Berrien carried the ball 5 times. They hand the ball to the wide receivers a lot.
Coming around the end. And I tell you, if they get some points on this drive, I think it's better that they get it off of a nice drive like this than a big play. It really shows them, hey, we can go ahead and get some longer drives on this team, as long as they end up with some points here.
Keep their defense off the field. Right, driving across the first down yellow line. Down to the 26-yard line. Dane Oldham made the tackle for Boise State.
Well, sooner or later, Fresno State's got to take advantage of this space out here. Look at all the guys in the box. 9 guys around the line of scrimmage. Right now, Boise State is saying, we're committed to stopping the run. We're going to dare you to beat our corners and throw the ball deep down the field.
And right now, Fresno, as you used to mention before, throwing those quick screens, and Fresno's had these big quarterbacks in the past, like Pinniger, like a David Carr before he went on to the Texans, the guys that can go ahead and whip the ball downfield.
Lots of movement along the line on 1st and 10. Pinniger brings it out for Wright. Good blocking out in front. And Wright has another first down. Andy Avila made the tackle. D'Artagnan Shack, the left tackle, leading the way along the sideline for Wright. And a gain of 14.
What a great wall. You said it, Sean. Great blocking down the line by those big linemen getting out there. Getting in front, this young line you'll see out. They almost create a wall. Led by D'Artagnan Shack.
That's a great name, isn't it?
That is a great name. Look at him run. 6'3", 300-pounder. I love how the old linemen stay on their feet downfield nowadays. Before, they used to just kind of throw at ankles.
Here's Wright running to the right, trying to turn the corner. He got away from Berger, but could not turn the corner. Nice defensive play by Wes Nurse.
Boy, and you said it, Rod. I mean, these guys just play up. They play up on the ball.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's very difficult to run outside when 8 and 9 guys are up there just kind of flying to the line of scrimmage on the snap of the ball.
And Wes Nurse is that alignment, and he really becomes another linebacker.
An unblocked one.
Yeah.
At that.
It's pretty easy to make tackles. You don't have to worry about a blocker.
Nurse, their second leading tackler for the year. Honorable mention, all WAC.
Guy who in 2000 was a wide receiver, then moved to defensive back.
It'll be second down. Loss on the play back to the 13-yard line. Second down and 12. And late, large personnel grouping coming on for Fresno State. This drive's been longer than 7 minutes now.
I better get this going.
Again, they hand it to a wide receiver. Again, it's Jennings. And this time, the Broncos are ready for him. Julius Brown, the cornerback, held his ground.
Held his ground. Boy, you're not kidding.
You know, they have to be setting something up with that fly sweep action.
Yeah.
I got to believe that there's a play off of that they want to run, and they want to show them the fly sweep action.
Yeah, because right now, Boise State just has one or two more guys coming up to the line that are unblocked.
Yeah.
They're able to make a play. So you're right. Hopefully there's a setup for this for Fresno State for a little later on in the game.
3rd down and 11. And a whistle stops the play. Flag thrown by the official on the far side of the field.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense. 5-yard penalty. The down is still through.
5th penalty of the night against Fresno State. Boise State's been penalized twice.
Fresno State came in tonight, 76 penalties in the 11 games, you know, close to 7 penalties a game. Tough to give up that kind of yardage.
This one puts them back at the 18-yard line. Frank Signetti, the offensive coordinator, calls the plays from the box upstairs. There's a signal in by number. See, Pinniger wears a wristband with all the plays on the wristband just numbered. All he needs is a number to call a play. Pinniger very close to the line of scrimmage, and he threw it. It is caught. Touchdown! And no flags. Marquez Davis has Fresno State on the board.
What a fantastic job first by Pinniger getting free, because Julius Roberts was coming on a nice rush. But let's check out the feed here, Rod, the catch.
Well, he's in along the back of the end zone. Both feet in. That's good in the NFL.
Yeah. Excellent catch. Excellent throw. High and away. But Pinniger made that play because he avoided the rush of Roberts and got on the move.
He bought the time to get Davis free in the end zone.
Brett Visentainer adds the extra point. Marquez Davis with his first touchdown reception of his senior season. And the Bulldogs, after an impressive drive, are now within 14.
ESPN2's College Football Friday, brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. And by Seiko. You can tell more about a person by the watch they wear than anything else. Seiko Arctura Kinetic.
Marquez Davis, an 18-yard touchdown reception, having an 8-minute, 9-second drive. The quarterback, Paul Pinniger, was perfect on the drive. They covered 76 yards to get the crowd back into it. Visentainer with a short approach on the kickoff because of that sprained left ankle. Here's Chris Carr. Nice move to get across the 20. Breaks the tackle at the 25. There is a flag down back at the 29-yard line. Carr made it all the way out near the 33. There is a flag now. 28-yard return.
Coming back, let's look at the touchdown and see how close Pinniger was at the line of scrimmage first. Nice rush here by Roberts. Pinniger steps up and then comes sideways. And let's see, the ball's being snapped at about the 18-yard line.
Yeah, so watch his feet.
Good step up there first. Let's see right where his feet are when he throws it. He throws, and he's just behind, I believe, the 18-yard line. So it looked like he knew it, too, because he really started going sideways and had awareness of where he was, and an excellent throw.
He showed a lot of good stuff that time. Pocket presence, understanding where he needed to flush himself out to, and then being aware of where the line of scrimmage was, not to cross it.
Nice drive, though. Excellent drive.
And now the crowd back into it. Boise State begins at its own 19-yard line. The true tight ends in the game. And the quick pass out to T.J. And he's tripped up by Richard Marshall at the 25-yard line. Here's Rob Stone.
Well, a lot of conversation on the Fresno State defensive side of the ball during that last series. Defensive back, secondary, talking with the coaches. What are they seeing? How can we adjust? What we can do? But the main talk really with the defensive linemen and the coaches barking at them. Hey, guys, take a gamble. Get inside. Get wide to come inside. Just get to that quarterback.
Hard to get to Dinwiddie. There's a great knack of releasing the football quickly. And he's on target to Gilligan, who gets away again. And goes out at the 39-yard line. Juan Dials had the coverage.
It's hard to get to the quarterback in this system. I mean, this system goes back to what they do at Oregon. I mean, everybody kind of traces their roots to somebody. Well, here at Boise State, they go back to Mike Bellotti. Remember that Chris Peterson, the offensive coordinator, he coached at Oregon. And Hawkins, he coached under Dirk Cutter.
Right.
And Dirk Cutter coached at Oregon. So they all learned it from Mike Bellotti.
There's some configuration, and here goes Lawrence Beatty. Dinwiddie out there with a block. Beatty all the way to the Fresno State 37-yard line. He can run, and they take advantage of that speed by getting him the ball in a variety of ways, a 24-yard gain.
Well, it's all about making the defense buy into it. And the defense is buying into a sweep, and then they just got suckered the other way. Watch all the red shirts. Going to come down to the bottom of the screen. And then look at this. Freeze it right there, guys. Look at that wall. 3 guys out front.
Looks like a punt return.
That is beautiful execution. Wow,
Dinwiddie got a block there on Tyrone Culver.
That looked like the wall on a punt return.
That was beautiful.
Donnie Heck is the running back. And they faked it to him and fooled everybody. And the pass was low, but caught by Tony McPherson. It would have been a bigger gain, but that's the second time tonight Dinwiddie's had somebody wide open, but the throw was so low that the receiver had to go down to his knees to make the catch. He did it to Gilligan earlier.
The only time he's made a mistake, too, because he makes a bad decision here. He has Acree running free way down the middle of the field by himself. Nobody near him, and he knows he went the wrong way and made a bad pass on top of it.
Play fake looked good. Oh, that was about it, though. It wasn't completion, but
Good start.
could have got a lot more out of that.
Boise State driving again. Heck backed up, got a hard-earned half-yard. Tackled by Mark Daly, the senior from Fresno, California. And once a contestant on The Price is Right, and not just a contestant. He went all the way and won the Showcase Showdown.
He did, but he didn't get within $100 to win them both, right?
No, I hate that rule that you can't go over.
I'm with you.
I will love The Price is Right, but why can't you go over? You can be $1 over, as close as that, and lose to somebody who was $1 million under, but they won because they didn't go over.
I agree.
That's the rule.
That's why I don't think that show will ever make
But
it.
that's the
Stupid
rule.
rule. Get Bob Barker on the phone. There's a catch by Acree and a touchdown. Juan Dials had the coverage.
Do you like the touch on that or what?
And he was pretty close on the coverage, but Dinwiddie just lost it right over the top.
My
Unbelievable.
He's so good at scaring.
You know, he's got a gun when he needs it, and he's got the touch when he needs it.
Acree, a former walk-on, with his 5th touchdown reception of the year. He's had some clutch catches for them this season in games against Louisiana Tech and Tulsa.
Yeah, they give scholarships to any receivers on here. Everybody's walking on. It's Gilligan and Acree.
And Jones kicks the extra point. 3.5 left till halftime. Boise State living up to its lofty ranking and zeroing in on a WAC title, leading Fresno State 28-7. Ryan Dinwiddie with a lot to talk about on that sideline. Already 11 out of 13 for 185 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's also rushed for a score. Similar numbers that he put up against Fresno State and Boise last year in that 67-21 rout.
I think he likes playing against Fresno State.
I would say so.
Tyler Jones with a high kickoff that came down to Adam Jennings. He got to the 20, and that's it. John McDonough with Mike Golick, Rod Gilmore, and Rob Stone. Fresno State had the crowd back into it after they scored a touchdown to get within 14, but another impressive drive for Boise State. 81 yards on just 6 plays. And Ryan Dinwiddie was 4 for 4 on the drive. 3:27 left in the half. Each team with all 3 timeouts left. Paul Pinniger on target to Bernard Berrien out to the 30-yard line, a little bit short of the first down. We check the game track.
No surprise about the game track. How about Ryan Dinwiddie? He's been the big story in the first half of this ball game, running for a touchdown, throwing for 2. He's been the offense.
And Boise State had the defense as well, though they just did give up a long drive to Fresno State. A nice pick there by Berger that led to a touchdown. Let's see if Fresno State, though, can put another drive like they just put together. They certainly need it. Their defense could certainly use it.
Last possession, an 8-minute touchdown drive. Marquez Davis scored the touchdown. He has that catch for the first down out to the 36. Beat Julius Brown, who had the coverage. Loose coverage at that.
Rod, I think that Fresno State needs to do the attacking downfield. Not desperation order. I'm not talking about that. I think they're better offensively when they do that. And remember, Boise State's weakness certainly is pass defense, though the numbers can be skewed a little bit with the year they've had, but that is the weakness of their defense.
I think you're right, but I think Boise State's going to change up their coverage a little bit and not invite them to throw down the middle so much as they were earlier.
7 straight completions for Pinniger. Since the interception, he eluded the sack of Franklin and then threw incomplete through the hands of Marquez Davis. A flag down. Downfield a little bit near the 42-yard line.
You know, the thing that is sort of surprising about this matchup with the Fresno State offense against Boise State defense is the fact that Fresno State has so much speed, but they can't really seem to take advantage of it against Boise State.
And this one's coming against Fresno State again. Illegal man downfield. Killing himself with penalties.
Illegal receiver downfield on the offense declined. The down is 2.
Well, that one was an honest mistake because the lineman probably just didn't know if Pinniger was going to take off or not and wanted to help out his quarterback.
And we saw Pinniger on the touchdown pass do a nice job of eluding the rush there. He did it to Gabe Franklin. Pinniger's a big guy, and he shook it pretty well. That's what size can do for you when you get a rush, especially from a D-back blitzing, is you can shake it the way Pinniger did.
Saw that he wanted them to signal the numbering again. All he needed was a number, say 65, and he looks at the wristband for play number 65. They have about 120 plays on that wristband. Right has a first down out of bounds near midfield. Corey Hall knocked him out.
Well, we talk about the wall that Boise State had on the reverse. Wright had a nice wall there as well. Well, that was beautifully executed. Watch the wall forming here on the right. That's a nice little convoy taking you down the field. Pretty nice hustle by Corey Hall, a linebacker.
I like that wristband concept you were talking about, Sean. You just call a number, and you can get the play into the field to the quarterback a lot faster than having to give all these signals from the sideline.
Of course, other teams that do that, it's an interesting story how they started doing it here this year. We'll tell it after the play. 14-yard gain on the completion to Wright. And again, a dump off short to Bryson Sumlin. And he got whacked pretty good at the 45-yard line by Julius Roberts. Frank Signetti is the offensive coordinator here. He's been the quarterback coach for a couple of years in the NFL with the New Orleans Saints. One of his quarterbacks was Jake Delhomme, now doing a great job for the Carolina Panthers, and they keep in touch. There's Frank Signetti in that window on the right. Thank you, Rod.
Right there.
And they were talking this summer, and Jake mentioned that now at Carolina, playing for Dan Henning as the offensive coordinator, they've gone to that wristband system, and Jake loves it. Frank Signetti said, that's a great idea. We'll use it here. And tell you what, you have to have good eyes, though, if you're the quarterback. Those 120 plays get shrunk down in a very small print.
They went on a defensive player and trying to rip it off his arm.
That looked like an interception. The officials no signal yet. Julius Brown looked like he had the ball. Are they calling it a reception? I believe they are. A catch instead by Jermaine Jamison.
Oh, what a nice catch, because that was a late throw by Pinniger. Gave the defender a chance to make a break on the ball. It was an accurate throw, but it was just a little late. He almost paid the price.
How'd he come up with it? Yeah, he had it.
Yeah. Well, that was Julius Brown making the move, but you know your receiver can help you, Mike, by coming back to the ball. And Jamison did not come back to the ball, and that gave room for Brown to get in there.
Pinniger dumps it off again. And Matt Rivera, flag down. Rivera down. With the clock stopped a minute 17 left. Andrew Browning made the tackle.
Wow, this one coming back against Fresno State.
You're feeling Pat Hill's pain, aren't you?
I'm telling you, he's got to be going nuts. I think that hat's so dirty, he's probably throwing it on the ground after the penalty's called. Yeah, timeout. He wants a timeout. He might call a whole
They're going to
offense
block
over
in the
there.
back. On the offense, 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Replay, first down.
Oh, he wants an explanation on the call or something from the official. He shouldn't waste the timeout to get it, though. He might need these timeouts here in the last minute and 17 seconds.
No, it doesn't. It looked like he was signaling for one and wanted one, but now he's not going to get one. Because you're right, you want to hang on to it.
That's a big walk-off all the way back to the 48-yard line. They need to get to the 26 for a first down. Pinniger dumps it off, incomplete. Off Rivera. The sophomore from Fresno couldn't come up with the catch.
That hurt. I mean, that wouldn't have been a big game, but at least it would have eaten up some yardage, Rod. I mean, it's one of those you don't have to go for the whole ball of wax on the one play. You want to get a little at a time because you have all your timeouts still.
That ball was in a bad spot.
Yeah.
A little bit high, a little bit behind Rivera. You want the ball to be in front of the guy who's coming out of the backfield so he can turn up the field and keep running with it without breaking stride.
Three receivers in the game now as Pinniger goes out of the shotgun on second rather and 22, and he is sacked by Paul Allen. First sack of the night for Boise State.
Well, maybe the first sack, but they have been putting pressure on Pinniger all night. He's been dancing around, moving around that pocket all evening, and they finally get him.
And a timeout called by Fresno State. While they take a break, let's check in with Reese Davis.
All right, Sean. Trev Alberts-Mark May with me, and right after Paul Allen's pressure. Pressure is going to be a theme at halftime, how TCU didn't deal with it and how others might coming up this weekend. We'll talk about the Big House Showdown and also have our high school showcase.
And talk about pressure. Can LSU pressure Eli Manning and Ole Miss, Mark?
And I'll tell you what Michigan has to do to beat Ohio State.
And find out why Holly Rose ticked off a coach so badly she has some extra cardio work to do.
Oh, I got a lot of stuff coming up.
I know. But you know something? I know what Mark May is thinking. I bet he tells you he wants Michigan to run the football.
Oh, you got Chris Perry.
He wants Perry to run the football.
Only problem is, I believe Ohio State is #1 in the country, giving up 50 yards a game. So you may have to pass a little bit to set up the run. What do you think?
I don't know. I just think he believes Chris Perry's got to get the football. I'm going to watch at halftime here because I bet I'm right.
Let me tell you, so Michigan has, as they normally do, a nice big offensive line. That you want to talk about an in-the-trenches game right there. Those are the kind you love. You just ice pack it up, bleed on somebody, and just hope you win.
Talk about pressure, John Navarre, huh?
Yeah.
0-2 against Ohio State. I think this might be his time.
Pinniger hopes this is his time for a big completion here. 3rd and 26. They finally throw a ball deep. And it is caught by Marquez Davis. 42 yards for the first down. They go to the 11-yard line.
What a, just hung it up there. Chris Carr came over from Boise State and kind of got lost. I mean, he came over. I thought he was going to get there in time.
Well, he was there in time, but watch the athleticism here. Davis just jumped over him to make the play.
Carr ended up getting there a little late, and as he turned, the ball was coming down, and Davis went up for it. But you say, go get it.
It was a great play. I don't understand the play that just followed it, guys. They're lined up. The clock was stopped to move the chains.
Yeah.
They were all lined up and ready to run a play. Run a play. Why waste it down? You have 2 timeouts left, 41 seconds.
I agree.
You have time. Don't waste it down. Run a play.
You have all that time going downfield to get your play called as you're running down. They're not starting the clock until it gets set. I agree with you, Sean.
I think Sean is ready to get on that coaching time management stuff we were working on. I think he's ready for it. Good point, Sean.
2nd down and 10. Pinniger almost picked off. Looking again for Marquez Davis. He's had a good one-on-one battle with Julius Brown. And Brown again got his hands on the ball. Got a couple of shots and an interception on this Fresno State drive. 3rd and 10. They'd certainly like to have it be 2nd and 10 right now.
I would absolutely agree with you, because they don't get it here. You know they're just going to try. They're going to try and get some points.
And they wasted a down with plenty of time and 2 timeouts. It'll be a moot point if they can put it in the end zone here. They can get a first down near the 1-yard line. Pinniger throws the fade for Davis, incomplete. And now the wasted down kills them. And they're going to leave 2 timeouts in their pocket, and they still have 34 seconds to work with.
Yep, they're doing the right thing here now, though. You get the 3, put it on the board. As far as that play, that pass, Pinniger needs to put a little more air on that.
Compare that pass to the one we saw by Dinwiddie down at the other end of the field.
Not lofting it up over the top. Pinniger a little too much on a rope.
Here's Vicentator. He's fine from the left hash mark in the middle of the field, but the bad left ankle. He has a tough time from the right hash mark, to the point where they usually won't even try one if the ball's on the right hash mark. That's a 28-yard field goal, and Boise State now leads 28-10. Boise State looking for its 16th straight win in conference. They've won 15 straight WAC games. Leading by 18. There's a live ball. And it's covered by Boise State at the 32-yard line. Donnie Heck alertly bounced on it, or pounced on it as it bounced near the 30-yard line.
Got a little exciting, somewhat like TCU last night in their comeback. They actually recovered 2 onside kicks in their 4th quarter comeback that fell short against Southern Miss.
Well, somebody at Southern Miss has some explaining to do.
Man.
How do you give up 2 onside kicks?
Front line, you never leave until you see the ball go over your head. To have the kicker just punch it 10 yards like TCU did. It's a cardinal sin for that front line of the receiving team.
Broncos will be content to take the 18-point lead to the locker room. Well, after all the stuff about Gilligan and Gilligan's Island and the burger thing, I thought maybe you were going to chime in where there was a heck of a play on the kickoff return.
I've been hitting the head a lot. I'm not that smart. I just follow your guys' lead.
You are. I don't know how you got into Notre Dame, but somehow that happened.
Before I took a lot of shots to the head.
Oh, boy.
Gilligan over 100 yards receiving, 113, 4 receptions and a touchdown for Tim. And here's Rob Stone with Dan Hawkins.
Coach, big game, tough environment on the road versus a team looking for some revenge. What has your team done to so dominate?
Well, you know, they've hit some big plays on us and done a nice job that way. I think offensively, you know, RD's been in a great rhythm and knows where he's going the ball. We always have to run the ball a little bit better than that, but other than that, it's been okay.
Speaking of Dinwiddie, how do you get him into such a groove, and how do you maintain it?
Well, part of that is his mom and his dad, but, you know, Coach Peterson does a nice job with him. That kid works very hard during the week. He's got a very good arm. He knows where to go with the ball.
Coach, appreciate your time. Have a great day.
At halftime, Boise State leads 28-10. Now let's head back to the studio. It's the college football halftime report with Reese, Trev, and Mark. Gentlemen.
All right, Sean, thank you very much. Dan Hawkins right there might as well have been flashing a sign over his head that said hot coaching commodity.
Yeah,
right there.
he's a good one.
He has done a wonderful job with Boise State. When we continue at halftime, we'll talk a little bit about pressure, who has not handled it so well and who might be vulnerable on Saturday. The implications from Southern Mississippi's victory over...
It's where academics count. It's where athletes count. It's where alumni count. Count it all up, and you'll have a crystal clear picture of what we believe who we are, and what we do. Our purpose, our focus, our passion. We are the Western Athletic Conference, where actions count.
And welcome back to Fresno at halftime. Number 20, Boise State leads the home-standing Bulldogs 28-10. Sean McDonough along with Mike Golick, Rod Gilmore, and Rob Stone. As you expect here in the WAC, plenty of offense. Each team had more than 200 yards of offense in the first half. And Fresno State will get it first here in the second half. Tyler Jones teeing it up at his own 35-yard line.
Well, Fresno State went into the half scoring that field goal. Let's see if they can carry anything on into the third quarter.
Here's Jennings from the 1. Adam Jennings, sophomore from Sacramento. Ridden out of bounds and then tackled near the bench by the kicker Jones. And some pushing and shoving over there, but no flags. A 36-yard return. Well, Mike, you were starting to talk about what Fresno State needs to do to get back into the game. That's a help.
Obviously, if you can get a big play like that to get you some room. But that offense, they had the big drive for the touchdown. If they can sustain something to keep the defense off the field. But it's going to come down to their defense and stopping Ryan Dinwiddie and that offense of his pinpoint passing. Either it's pressure, or it's zone coverage, or it's more man. It's something to mix it up to throw him off.
Well, they're not going to get to him pressuring him.
No.
I just don't see that happening.
Throws in rhythm.
Paul Pinniger throws on the run, incomplete. R.K. Davis was breaking open away from Gabriel Franklin. Let's look at the ESPN2 game track.
Well, there was no pressure on Ryan Dinwiddie, and he had a humongous first half. Ran for a touchdown, threw for a couple more, just putting the ball perfectly placed to Gilligan.
Yeah, Gilligan had a nice half, 4 receptions, 113 yards, and a touchdown. This one on the slant. Good job getting inside position, goes for 73 yards.
Dinwiddie 11 out of 13, 185 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. He also ran for 1. You weren't with us earlier. Gilligan's revenge refers to 2 years ago when he got laid out while fielding a punt on a cheap shot. Had to go to the hospital. He's exacted plenty of revenge tonight. R.K. Davis out near the first down marker, about a half-yard short. It'll be 3rd and short. Here's Rob Stone.
Sean spoke with Pat Hill as he was coming out of the locker room, stressed the importance of this opening drive here in the second half to try and regain some momentum. Said, hey, we got to reestablish our running game as well, and we cannot get into a scoring race with these guys, which means, Mike, just like you said, their defense has got to make a stand when they get back out on that field.
Well, this is a stand right here. They got a few 300-pounders on that old line. They need to run behind the interior guys. All they need is about a half a yard.
Another deep handoff and a first down to Dwayne Wright, who rushed for 33 yards in the first half. We'll take a look at more of the first half stats, and the total yardage relatively even. Really, most of the stats even. Fresno State, bolstered by that 8-minute touchdown drive, had a fairly comfortable edge in time of possession.
That'll hurt you.
Yeah, and the turnover, the interception by Berger that set up the Boise State touchdown also hurt Fresno State.
Well, Boise State will have to run the ball in the fourth quarter.
Right.
When you want to finish a game when you have a lead, you have to be able to run in the fourth quarter.
Pinniger, 15 of 23 in the first half, sends it up high and out of bounds. Looking for Bernard Berrien. Julius Brown had the coverage.
Occasionally they're going to take their shot there. That wasn't a very accurate pass.
Well, you saw with Marquez Davis in the first half. Even with double coverage, he was able to leap up and make a play.
Right.
And they really believe, Pat Hill does, he believes that his receivers are so athletic that if you can just get them one-on-one out there, give them a chance to make a play.
Yep.
So they're going to keep taking those shots.
It's as if they came out with the idea they were going to take some shots deep, because almost all the passing in Fresno State in the first half was short and underneath. Wainwright ahead of the 47-yard line. Paul Allen made the tackle. It'll be 3rd down and 8.
Mike, I know you won't agree with me on this, but I don't think Fresno State has to score on this drive. I just think that in this third quarter, they need to get points before Boise State gets any points, and that will give them the momentum. But too much pressure, I think, is put on that first drive of the third quarter.
The way Boise State's been scoring, they might need to score now. But I certainly understand your point. I won't disagree with you too much.
Here comes the rush off the corner, well defended. But the pass incomplete, looking for Berrien. And Fresno State will have to punt.
Now, this doesn't have to be a bad thing for Fresno State if they get a good punt. You back up Boise State, and then you got a chance to play good defense with good field position for your defense, and maybe you get the momentum that way.
Lingua has put 23 inside the 20-yard line.
It's the second punt of the night. Each team punted just once in the first half. Lingua was a soccer goalie in high school. A lot of punting of the soccer ball, got the attention of the football coach. Played football for just 1 year in high school. That punt hit Nathan Ray on the bounce. It was finally down to the 11, but they're going to put it back where it hit Ray near the 17-yard line. Back in Fresno, Boise State at under 12 minutes in time of possession, but still at time for 28 points. They can strike quickly, and they did in the first half.
Well, let's see what Dinwiddie threw for, as you mentioned, 185 yards. He needed 310 yards coming into tonight to set the school record for a single season. It was held by Bart Hendricks, who did it in the year 2000.
Running Ryan will get it.
I would say he's got a real good shot.
If not tonight, they have 2 more games left. Low throw, with the catch made by Tony McPherson at the 22. Another Friday night moment, and what a game this was back in early October at Utah. Urban Meyer, the coach's wife Shelley, could hardly stand to watch. She liked what she saw in the fourth quarter under 2 minutes left. Alex Smith to Ben Moa, and Utah beat Oregon 17-13. Ben Moa, one of the 8 finalists for the John Mackey Award, which goes to the best tight end in the nation.
How many times did we see a ranked team lose on Friday night?
Here's David Michael out near the 25-yard line. He'll bring up 3rd down and a long 2. Mark Daly made the tackle.
You know, just on what you said, how Fresno doesn't need to score on the first drive, this would be a huge stop for Fresno.
This could be a momentum changer because of also field position.
Absolutely.
They stop them here. They're going to get a punt. They get the ball in around midfield. They get a chance to do something.
Dinwiddie has some running room, and he has the first down. And finally knocked down by Todd Garcia.
Well, he's one of those guys that's not overly fast, but he has the ability to get positive yards.
Yeah, he's got good feet.
Yeah.
He, changes direction, pitter-pat, there he goes. He's not going to outrun you, but, he can out-quick you for a few yards.
And that's all he needed there. Just had to move the chains. Yeah. So there goes our whole thing we were talking about.
At halftime, we heard some fans outside talking about, geez, that quarterback is really good. How come he's not on our team?
Well, that quarterback's been all right tonight, too.
Yeah, he has. You always like the other guy.
Boise State 5 out of 6 on 3rd down now, and going for the deep ball, and it's incomplete. Almost taken in by Lawrence Beatty, and he had a step on the defender, Juan Dial.
Boy, oh boy, I thought he was going to pull that one in just a little far. Here's a guy against SMU caught a 98-yard pass.
And it wasn't a touchdown.
From the 1-yard line to the 1-yard line. Look, he got his hands on that. Laid out for it, couldn't bring it in. But how about having that record? A 98-yard reception, and you don't score. 1-yard line to 1-yard line.
To the SMU one. Here's the longest pass play in Boise State history. Michael with good blocking. Put his head down and banged his way to the 39. The ball's out. Fresno State saying they have it. I thought I heard a whistle.
Yeah.
You heard correctly.
Yes, you did.
Fans don't like it. It's hard for us to hear anything over the Spanish radio broadcast with which we're sharing the platform up here tonight atop the stadium. These guys are very into Fresno State football next to us.
Nice hit by Nate Ray.
Good call, though. That was not a fumble.
See, we go with another third down.
Is that all the Spanish you know?
Yeah, that's about it. I'm sure they're having a very good broadcast. I just don't understand any of it.
And we can hear it.
Here comes the rush. Dinwiddie got it off. Here's T.J. Acree with another first down. 6 of 7 now on third down to the Broncos. That's another sign of a terrific offensive football team. James Sanders made the tackle. Acree's shoulder bothering him just a bit as he came up.
That was the first time Dinwiddie was hit after throwing the ball. They didn't get there in time, but they found a way to get a little bit of pressure on him and at least hit him.
Guys shouldn't be that wide open, though. It's killing yourself.
Donnie Heck powering for another first down in the Fresno State territory at the 43. Guy Meza made the tackle, the safety, playing in his last game here. And he spoke with Meza yesterday. He, Berrien, Bryce McGill, the linebacker, they all live together. And they are addicted to these dating shows.
Yeah, what is
like Treasure Island and
Survivor,
Paradise Hotel. Olivia Date.
Yeah, Blind Date. Yeah.
They know way too much about those guys.
Oh, my God.
They can critique each one.
These are our future leaders, the people that watch all those things.
Nice run again by Heck.
It's a heck of a run.
Oh, thank you very much. A little late with that, but better late than never. Marcus McCauley made the tackle. Very near another first down.
Yeah, Rod, you mentioned that they're going to need a running game in the fourth quarter if they keep this lead. Well, there.
Heck of a point.
Oh, boy, we're starting early.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed.
Can't wait for Gilligan to catch another pass.
All right. Well, listen, that
Ginger or Marion, while we're on the subject.
Oh, that's the age-old question.
Yes, it is.
Marion.
And a timeout called by Dinwiddie.
Well, maybe he's
Apparently
thinking about it, too.
9:15 left in the third. Boise State on the move again, up by 18.
ESPN2's College Football Friday, brought to you by Pontiac. Vote for this week's ultimate Pontiac high-performance play at ESPN.com/Pontiac.
Boise State and Fresno State. A win for the Broncos clinches at least the tie of the WAC title. They'd be in great position, obviously, to win it outright, undefeated in conference. They do have two very tough games left. A good Nevada team that's 6-5 for the season next week, and then they finish at Hawaii, and you'll see on the family of networks. And of course, Hawaii 6-4. Hawaii was actually the preseason favorite to win the WAC.
Right.
Boise State won it in undefeated fashion last year, but lost 8 starters on offense. So the pollsters thought they might drop back a bit, but they have not.
Oh, they forgot about Dinwiddie.
Yeah, they haven't missed a beat.
Yeah. You have Dinwiddie. You got a pretty good offense.
And an overshadowed defense, and obviously a very well-coached football team. Good special teams, too. Hard to find a weakness. Dinwiddie finds a receiver. First down. Greg Swenson, the fullback, who doesn't touch it very much, just his 4th catch of the year. For the senior from Paradise Valley, Arizona, where Mr. Golick used to reside.
Oh, boy.
You'll be back there for the Insight
Yes,
Bowl.
I will.
This is all about accuracy. Remember we talked about putting the ball where the receiver can turn upfield? Look at that. right on the number so that he can easily turn upfield without having to pirouette or anything like that.
And doesn't give the defense a chance to make a play on the ball.
Nope, great throw. Very accurate.
10th play of the drive. And it's a run with Heck inside the 25 to the 24.
A lot of teams on the West Coast, and I've been talking about Oregon, Boise State, you know, they adopted a lot of the Bill Walsh approach to offense, which is you attack early. You attack right away, stun the opponent, and then once you have the game in control, then you go to your running game to milk the clock in the ball game. But you want to come in and stun them, almost like in military terms, a surprise attack. Right. And jump on them and then disorient them.
Take them out of their game.
Exactly.
Here's Heck, former Idaho State Player of the Year in high school at Eagle High School, where he helped his team to a state championship. He was tackled by Danielle Booker. Short of a first down. Booker, big number 99. He was a junior from Houston and a junior college transfer. He played at Reedley College last year. We had 15 and a half sacks in one season in junior college.
They like him. They remind him a little bit of Alvin Harper, who played here and then went on into the NFL. But he's a little bit of a bigger version. It was a nice job getting his 300-plus pound body going a little sideways there to make the play. They need a big third down stop.
Haven't been able to do it tonight. Only one third down stop. They put heat on Dinwiddie. The pass is dropped and almost intercepted. Intended for Trent Lundeen. Ruled incomplete.
Well, he doesn't have too many incompletions tonight, and 2 of them are on drops. It's another one. He had some pressure coming right up the middle. Got to make that catch.
It was actually Derek Schumann, the starting tight end, not Lundeen, the backup, who couldn't haul it in. And here's a field goal try.
Brian Morris put the pressure on inside. They haven't been able to do that much tonight.
41-yard field goal for Jones. He's 15 of 19 for the year. Plenty of leg to kick this one. It's a fake. And then the holder fell down. Mike Sanford rolling out, tripped and fell with nobody around him. Wonder if it was just a problem with the hold. There was a low snap earlier on an extra point that Sanford got down. That's a fake all the way.
That's definitely a fake. Absolutely. Absolutely a fake. But I tell you what, if we look down toward the end zone where the route was being run, it was covered. Fresno State had this covered. If Sanford even stayed on his feet, he didn't have anybody to throw it to.
But why do you run a fake there?
Wow, that is surprising.
We talked about Utah. Mike's dad is the offensive coordinator at the University of Utah. So Urban Meyer, also named Mike Sanford.
Boy, it would have been interesting. Now maybe if there's nobody open, he might have had some room to run possibly, but I'm with you, Ron. I don't know why you call it.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, you're up 18 points. Yeah. You're having a good drive. You tack on a field goal. You're up 21 points. You've discouraged them. Why do a fake?
Wayne Wright, the running back. The first down carry, game 2. Short drop by Pinniger. Then he throws incomplete. Crowd wanted a flag. Mark Wood, the intended receiver. Wes Nurse had the coverage.
And Pinniger took a shot. He tried to look off. He tried to pump fake to his left and then go over the middle. And Nurse wasn't biting on the fake at all. He stayed right with his man, and then Pinniger paid for it.
Pinniger's gone cold. 1 for his last 7 passing. The former All-State high school baseball pitcher here in the state of California.
Did he show you that circle change that he threw in high school?
He said he was more of a fastball slider guy.
Boy, he throws that.
He can throw a circle change.
Well, if he can throw that, if he's a fastball guy, that'd make you look stupid swinging.
He was airing it out very deep, and it is caught. Is it inbounds? No. Bernard Berrien ruled out of bounds. At the 28-yard line, Chris Carr had the coverage.
Again, Rod, you talked about it before. Give your receiver a chance. Just a tough throw over the shoulder. Catch.
Out of bounds.
Out of bounds. Good call. Boy, that was close.
So you're right. You give him just a little bit more room, he makes that catch.
Yep.
Mike Lingua punting for the third time. And 4th down and 8. 6.5 minutes left in the third. Neither team has scored here in the third quarter. Short and wobbly punt. Gilligan brings it back to the 33. 33-yard punt. The return of 1 yard for Gilligan. And a timeout in Fresno. Boise State back on offense with an 18-point lead midway through the third quarter. Looking for their 10th win of the year. Dinwiddie makes the connection. Lawrence Beatty out to the 38. Here's Reese Davis.
All right, Sean, our high school showcase game of the week, state championship game 4A in the state of Iowa. In the white, it's Valley up 17-10 on Washington. Valley from West Des Moines. Washington from Cedar Rapids. Jason Scales going in for the 9-yard touchdown. And Valley High wins the 4A state championship for the 2nd straight year, and they finish an undefeated season.
Jason Scales knows end zones. 81 touchdowns in his career before that one. Wow.
He's weighed in heavily. Heck thrown for a loss. I guess that would be an upset, even though they were the defending champs, because they were ranked number 2 in the state. In Washington, Cedar Rapids was ranked number 1.
Right. Yeah, sure, it'd be an upset. Both teams were undefeated.
Wayne Ruffin, a nice defensive play on the last. Run by Heck. 3rd down and 8. Fresno State with a weak rush, and Dinwiddie with all day to complete that pass. They are getting no progress at all up front toward the quarterback in a 16-yard gain.
Yeah, that was 3-man rush, 8 back, and the guy's that wide open.
Well, yeah, you got to take away something. Either you got to get after the quarterback or take away the underneath throwing lane. They got neither on that occasion.
Catch made by Trent Lundeen, who was dragged down. He's a transfer from Northern Arizona University. Dinwiddie continues to have a terrific night. There's Derek Schumann. Dinwiddie was looking forward to this trip, guys. He's a California, chance to see the relatives, but particularly a chance to see his mother. His mother bakes all of his meals and then freezes them. And when she comes to games in Boise, she'll bring all kinds of food. He has a big freezer in his apartment in Boise, and he can store up food for about a month. So he was looking forward to seeing Mom in part so he could bring a lot of food back to Boise that he can freeze and take home.
That's something. Well, that's important to him because he tends to lose weight during the season, and that's been a problem for him. So Mom cooking helps.
Well, he weighs 188 right now, and he's right on the money to Tim Gilligan. Marcus McCauley had the coverage, so that's a 22-yard gain. I don't care how much he weighs, how tall he is. This guy's going to play in the NFL. Maybe not be a starter, but he's going to make somebody's team.
And let's start to talk about that a bit, because here's a guy again with the touch. Great job by Gilligan with the catch, but a beautiful touch over the top. A guy size-wise you compare him to in the NFL right now is probably Jake Plummer.
Yep.
6'1", about $190 right in that area there. Mom, listening out there, feed Ryan. Get him up there. Stuff it down his throat. Get him to 200, 210. Keep feeding him.
And a flinch on the right end of the offensive line. Looked like Jason Turner.
But, Sean, you're right. I mean, he's going to get the chance there. There's certainly the quarterbacks, the Eli Mannings, the Phillip Rivers, you know.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense, 5-yard penalty, the down stolen.
And more than a few that will be taken before him. Now, we'll see, certainly in the combine and stuff, how he works out for these. But you know that's what it is in the NFL. These guys are going to put the tape measure up and say, oh, if he was an inch or two taller, oh, if he was 20 pounds heavier, which is something he may be able to do. But you know what? He puts the ball on the money, and he doesn't throw interceptions. That's the NFL of today, because we don't have a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL that you can say, go win the game. You got to want a guy that doesn't have a lot of turnovers, and Dinwiddie is a guy like that.
And he can't get away that time. First sack of the night. Paisatelli and Brian Morris. They brought the pressure on Dinwiddie and dropped him back at the 31-yard line.
Well, just to follow up on your discussion about Dinwiddie, he is smart,
Yes.
he is tough, and those things will help him. He can be the kind of quarterback, if he's a backup, you don't have to worry about the turnovers, whether he knows the plays,
Right.
will he get you in a bad situation, that won't happen.
Heck to the 29-yard line. D. Meza made the tackle. Here's Rob Stone.
Well, that catch by Tim Gilligan a couple plays ago, even more impressive when you consider he's now playing with a burner that he suffered on the punt returns to set up this drive. And bad news, they're holding out running back David Michael with Boise State. Slight concussion. They're telling me chances are he's probably done for the day.
Well, he seems to be pretty lucid over there.
Yeah, and you're up 28-10. I mean, at this point, you can afford to keep him over there and not take any chances.
3rd and 16. They've already taken a lot of time off the clock on this drive. Dinwiddie gets away for the moment. Great coverage in the secondary. Now he throws toward the end zone off the hands of Gilligan at the 2-yard line. Great job in the secondary. Dinwiddie had all kinds of time, but as we were looking downfield, we couldn't see anybody open, and we were looking from up above where we had a pretty good view of it.
And there was nobody open. And Dinwiddie still tried to get one in there to Gilligan, who he motioned to move at the last minute, and then he did.
Dinwiddie rolled right, and Gilligan, he needed Gilligan to come back across the field. Yeah, Gilligan thought the play was over. Then he broke out. Actually got his hands on it.
I don't think it'll be a fake this time. Tyler Jones, 46-yard field goal try. And it is good. First points of the 3rd quarter for either team. And first field goal of the night for Jones. It's 31-10 Boise State. Fresno State in dire need of some offense. They've had a dreadful 3rd quarter. They had the ball for just 3 minutes and 12 seconds. Have just 19 yards of offense. They'll get it after the kickoff from Jones. Bernard Berrien from the 9. Running room along the sideline, and the kicker, Jones, again made the tackle. That's the second tackle he's made on kickoff coverage in this quarter. Rivalry Week presented by Pontiac. Clemson and South Carolina on ESPN2 at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Lou Holtz under some pressure, but he just got a new contract extension despite the website playerlouholtz.com that has popped up. And Alabama and Auburn, 7:45 Eastern on ESPN. Mike Shula in his first Iron Bowl game as head coach. I think he's done a nice job there, guys. I know they've only won 4 games, but given the circumstances.
Boy, were awful circumstances, so he certainly deserves some time there.
In a couple of close calls, they really lost a couple of heartbreakers along the way. Could have been better than the 4-7 record. Quick pass to Berrien, and he cannot escape. Nice tackle by Chris Carr.
All I know about this weekend is that you got to pick a team. Rivalry weekend, you can't be on the fence. Alabama, Auburn, you pick a side.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, even if you're in the same household with somebody, you got to pick.
This is when households, start to divide. How about Cal Stanford? You're,
come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
All right.
Enough of that one.
What's the matter?
Wonder.
They won last year. I'm not over that yet.
Who, Cal did?
Yes.
What do they call that? The big game? Sort of pretentious, isn't it? There's a throw. It's broken up by Gerald Alexander. Or Gabriel Franklin, rather. 16, not 18.
Well, Pinniger's had some good throws. This is the difference a little bit. He takes a little longer to get his ball out, and the defender's able to break on it. You know, he puts it where it's supposed to be, but the defender has time to break on it. Dinwiddie has a little bit better timing of getting it out there accurately where the defender doesn't have a chance to break on it.
His receivers do a better job of getting a little more separation, too.
Yep.
There's some space between those Boise State receivers and the defenders. Not a lot of space for these Fresno receivers. Blitz coming. Pinniger has running room. And he does not get the first down. And a decision for Pat Hill at the 41-yard line on 4th down and 3. 3 touchdowns down, under a minute left in the 3rd quarter.
kick it.
And your quarterback getting up really slow and doubled over. Now I think that kind of makes the decision for you.
They're going to punt.
They need Lingwood to get a hold of one. Remember, we did the game against Oregon State. He had a 68-yarder in that one.
Low snap. He fielded it on a bounce, and there's a boomer. Gilligan calls for the fair catch and makes it at the 18-yard line. A 42-yard punt by Lingua.
Well, we get to see more of the battle between Chris Peterson and his good buddy Dan Brown, who's the defensive coordinator at Fresno State. So far, Peterson's been winning that battle against his good friend.
Yeah, I would say.
Interesting, too, that on the defensive staff at Fresno State, they have 3 of their defensive coaches with great ties to Boise State. You mentioned Dan Brown, the coordinator. He graduated in '82 from Boise State, was on their 1AA national championship team in 1980. Coached there a long time. Tom Mason was a defensive coordinator at Boise State in the mid-90s, an interim head coach.
Yep.
He's the linebacker coach now at Fresno State, and the DB coach here at Fresno, Randy Stewart, played and coached at Boise State. The deep ball incomplete. Looking for Acree. Dan Brown told us that he cheers for Boise State every other week except when they play Fresno State.
Boy, that is something. 3 guys on the staff who all to the opposing school.
I think this guy learned to compete as a youngster. He's one of 15 children. He is the 9th of 15, the 7th boy.
He had a hard time getting dinner.
Well, when he was a linebacker at Boise State in 1980, they won the 1AA national championship. Linebacker on that team.
They made it move up to Division 1A football in '96. Pass incomplete. First ball thrown tonight in the direction of Mark Onabukin. There's Chris Peterson, who is the good friend of Dan Brown, the Boise State offensive coordinator. And a product, as you mentioned, Rod, of not just the Oregon but system, but they go back to UC Davis. He and Dan Hawkins.
What a great program they've had at UC Davis.
Dinwiddie flushed on 3rd down and 10. Yet another first down. Tim Gilligan. You might want to cover him, especially on 3rd down and 10. Got it out to the 32-yard line.
I have never heard of, guys, Tim Gilligan, a guy coming to college as a walk-on kicker. Be as successful as he has at wide receiver.
End of 3 quarters, and Boise State in control. Tim Gilligan has his fans here on the road in Fresno. And he's made it a nice night for his Rooters. 6 catches, 149 yards, and a touchdown. Boise State 8 out of 11 now on 3rd down tonight. And they take a 21-point lead into the 4th quarter. Dinwiddie throws, and a nice catch made by T.J. Acree. He's bounced back after an early drop to have a good night, too. They'll spot the ball out near the 35-yard line. James Sanders to tackle.
We talk about this offense looking like Oregon's. Watch these guys. There's the front line protecting Dinwiddie. Look at this turn back.
I love this.
There it is. There it is. And then they throw back to the open side. Sometimes they throw front side, back side, but they turn back. Everybody gets to the one side.
That is a wacky thing. It's really something.
It is, and that's the Oregon influence.
Second and 8. And the confusion, the receiver broke off the pattern, and that one's intercepted by Therian Fontenot. And Acree tackled him at the 28-yard line. Just the 3rd interception of the season thrown by Dinwiddie, and just the 5th by Boise State.
I would say a bit of miscommunication there.
Yes.
We ran an out route, and Dinwiddie threw out an up route. And Fontenot said, "Thank you very much." He was a running back. I would have thought he'd run it a little better. There's the out route.
Whoops.
By McPherson. He's saying, uh-oh, did I mess up?
McPherson getting a little more playing time tonight because Jerry Smith, one of their wide receivers, is not here with a minor knee injury. They think he'll be able to play in their next game. Fontenot's first interception of the season. Senior from Lawndale, California. As you saw in the graphic, a former running back. Berrien.
Oh.
Thrown out of bounds by Andy Avalos.
You think?
You know, I think Avalos got out a little bit of aggression. You remember, he was recruited by Fresno State, but then they stopped. They stopped recruiting him, and now he gets to come here and play them in front of family and friends and deliver a blow.
I like that.
Nothing wrong with it.
Absolutely not. Nothing at all. This kid, a leading tackler last year with 107 tackles.
Well, he's 5'10". He said when we talked to him the other day, that's why a lot of schools backed off.
Right.
He's just a little bit too short. He grew up about 45 miles east of Los Angeles. Second sack of the night for Boise State. Andrew Browning has been in on both of them. He lost his helmet, but managed to get Pinniger on the ground, and a big loss on the play back to the 23-yard line.
That's okay. You lose your helmet, hang on to the quarterback. He's more important. You get your helmet after the play. We saw Pinniger. We talked earlier about how he was stepping up in the pocket and moving out. Well, a couple of sacks. You mentioned Browning coming from the inside. Nowhere for Pinniger to step up.
Well, when you take away the front space for a quarterback, get right in his face, that makes it a little difficult. He can't step up, and that makes him uncomfortable.
Ask any quarterback. They don't want to talk about the blind side or coming from the edge. It's the guys that are coming straight up the gut that give them the most trouble.
Pinniger out of the shotgun. Has a man open. It's Berrien. And this will be very close. Will they give him the forward progress? Out to the 39. They will in a first down. He got belted backwards by Wes Nurse. A 15-yard gain on third down and 14.
Nice catch. Tough catch. The kind of catch you want to see from a senior player who's an NFL prospect. Hang in there when you know you're going to get the hit.
Yeah, that ball was hanging up there a little bit. As it was coming down, Berrien knew he was going to take a shot and stayed on his feet.
He has a brother, Chris, who runs track here at Fresno State. They had an older brother who ran track at Arizona State. Pretty fast family. Second first down of the half for Fresno State. Right. Pulled down at the 41-yard line.
Browning.
Alex Guerrero in on the stop.
He and Browning, the two D tackles now, really closing up the middle on the run and getting that pressure up the middle on the pass.
Well, they can pretty much tee off right now and ignore the running game because of the 3 scores.
Tackle everything on the way to the quarterback.
Nearing 12 minutes left. And the catch made by Steven Spock, the fullback. His first catch of the night. 12th of the season for the junior from Clovis, California, here in the Fresno area.
Another kid who was a walk-on. Look at the blocks coming out from underneath that helmet.
He had no catches over the last 3 games.
You think he has to blow dry?
I don't understand what that concept is. Here's another guy from a big family. He's the 8th of 11 children. His brother Jeff played here at Fresno State. A deep ball. He's looking for Jamison. Incomplete. And a flag thrown against Julius Brown.
Oh. Well, I don't know about this one.
Well, the problem I have with it is that he's bailing the receiver out because he gave up on the route.
Wow. It was marginal at best, it seemed, from our vantage point.
Jamison gave up on the route. He stopped, and then the ball was thrown. Now watch him. Watch him give up on this route. Sounds like, uh-oh, I got to get going. And he initiated some of the contact.
Oh, that's an awful call.
Yeah,
it's an awful
brutal
call.
I've been telling you guys all season long, pass interference, they get that thing right probably half the time.
Oh,
and that's just unacceptable. Half? Maybe. Maybe half.
What
Way
position?
better
What
than
position
that.
you play?
It's not way better than that. It's horrible.
It's coming from a DB.
It's the
What
one
are you
thing.
saying? Half the time they throw the flag they shouldn't, or half the time they should throw the flag and they don't? Or is it 25% of each?
That's a philosophical thing now.
Play action pass. He wanted to go deep again, but it was well covered. Now he'd be wise to get rid of it. He throws it away. Pressure applied by Mike Dominguez. Backup defensive end. They have a lot of second-team defensive linemen in there now. Trying to keep the troops fresh.
Here's the deal, too. You know, in a situation like that, not a lot of guys on the route for Fresno State to come back and help when your quarterback starts to roll out. He had nowhere to go, and nobody was moving his way.
That's the problem when you have a two-receiver route. You have to keep so many guys in to protect the quarterback, and then you're stranded when you only have two receivers and they're both doubles.
Almost desperate straits here. You might want to take a chance and throw a few more people down the field. That's over the head of Spock. One of the bright young coaches in America is their offensive coordinator here in Frank Signetti. And great genes. His dad also, Frank, has been the coach for a couple of decades at Indiana University of Pennsylvania, one of the best Division II programs in America. They were 10-1 and ranked number 5 in the nation in Division II this year. Frank Sr. once the head coach at West Virginia in the late 70s. He took over when Bobby Bowden left to go to Florida State and very nearly died during that point in time. Was diagnosed with a rare form of lymphoma. The screen to Marquet Davis gets very little. And Frank Jr. told us last night that twice when he was a young man, his dad had his last rites given to him.
Wow.
And not only did he survive, but he's had a great career at Indiana University of Pennsylvania, chance to go elsewhere, but he stayed and maintained that program. How about that record for Frank Sr.? 13 appearances in the playoffs.
So IUP's had a good season. They'll
They
be in
should
the
have been in the
playoffs.
playoffs.
They're
They
not in the playoffs.
Got politicked out of the Division II. At least that's what young Frank tells us. Somebody on the committee didn't like Frank Sr., even though they ranked number 5 in the country, and they take 16 teams.
Oh, that's
They didn't get in the
ridiculous.
playoffs. There's a deep ball for the end zone, and it's incomplete on 4th down. They only needed 6, but they went for the 6 points and didn't get it. So the ball goes over on downs to Boise State, up by 3 touchdowns. Boise State, perhaps 10 minutes and 38 seconds away from clinching at least a share of the WAC title. They'd have a 2-game lead over the rest of the pack with 2 games left to be played for the Broncos if they can protect this 3-touchdown lead. They have to like their chances. Here's Heck out to the 36-yard line, tackled by Daly. And what a night for Ryan Dinwiddie, yet another on a long resume of great nights.
Just look where the ball goes to the receivers. That's all you have to watch.
Right in stride.
I mean, and he throws it as the receiver's breaking. Out routes, middle routes, fade routes, touch routes.
Yes, we've seen the touch pass. We've seen him thread it. We've seen him just put it right in stride with the guy coming out of the backfield. He's made just about every throw.
266 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, a rushing touchdown as well. Trent Lundeen tackled at the 40-yard line by Mark Daly. He'll be 3rd and about 2. Let's take a look at the Seiko storyline. We gave you the numbers for Dinwiddie. Pinniger has had a decent night as well, and Gilligan, those numbers becoming just about typical week to week for Tim Gilligan.
He is something else. Again, the big play there, obviously the in route on the 73-yard touchdown, but he's got some sure hands. If you're a receiver, you have to love playing in this system, and especially for Dinwiddie, because he puts the ball right there for you.
Jared Zabransky, the backup quarterback, taken down by Danielle Booker, short of the first down.
Yeah, this offense for Boise State has really become much more Dinwiddie's offense. You know, last year they had Brock Forsey, and so they relied on him an awful lot. But now it's clearly Dinwiddie. He's the guy and has been all season long.
Fresno State's defense done an excellent job here in the second half, giving them a chance to get back in the game, but the offense has not scored. Timeout called by Boise State. Apparently they did not have the proper or necessary personnel on the field.
Sean, you're right. The defense has stepped it up under this half at Fresno State. Offense not helping. And you look at these two programs, guys. I mean, since 2001, they're third and fifth in the nation in wins. Oklahoma tops at 33, Boise third at 29, and Fresno fifth at 27. So they've been doing a nice job.
Kyle Stringer on the punt. Fresno State came after him. They blocked 9-6 this year. Catching it on the run, Berrien. Room down the sideline. He's going to go. Touchdown, Fresno State. "65 yards on the punt return for a touchdown for Bernard Berrien."
For Fresno State, guys, since 1999 now, that's their 24th return for a touchdown by kickoff, punt, or interception. That's 12th in the nation since that time. So they're used to it. They've done this certainly plenty of times before.
Well, he got a couple of great blocks to get him to the wall out there. And then he just turned on the jet.
Yep.
They don't have enough men on the field for this extra point, but they have plenty of time. Chris Denman ran on late. They still have 13 on the play clock. Container adds the extra point. Officially a 68-yard punt return by Berrien. And they're back in the game with 8.5 left.
ESPN2's College Football Friday. Brought to you by new Smirnoff Ice Triple Black. Triple filtered for a crisp, clean bite.
Well, the punt return for a touchdown has brought the crowd to life. Late enough in the game, you'd think the onside kick would be a possibility, but apparently neither team's thinking about it. Boise State didn't have the hands team on, and Vicentainer kicked it deep to Heck, who brought it back to the 26. 23-yard return.
Let's go back to the punt return. When have you seen a great block without actually making one? Marcus McCauley, look at this, Mike, number 17. Yep, he gets two guys without hitting anybody.
Puts his hands up in the air to make sure he says, I'm not hitting anybody in the back, and gets in front of two guys, and Berrien goes right around it. That was great. When is a block not a block?
Yeah.
Nice job by Marcus McCauley.
Freshman, smart.
Well, we'll see. Will the Broncos try to run the ball and take some time off the clock? They haven't done much rushing tonight. Dinwiddie hit from behind and sacked by Garrett McIntyre. Second sack of the night for Fresno State.
Well, McIntyre got the sack, but it was caused by Todd Garcia coming up the middle and making Dinwiddie have to pull it down and go to the outside. Watch 45, you're going to see Garcia push him right up the middle there. Now he's got to break to the outside, and McIntyre comes right around the end. Excellent job.
And a lot of the fans have left. They had more than 39,000 in-house. I'd say about half of them have departed, but those who are here are making plenty of noise.
Good pressure by Garcia up the gut. He caused that play.
Loss of 13. Second and 23. He had to dump it off sideways for Heck. He gets very little. Out to the 17, perhaps the 18. Berrien, Fontenot, and D. Meza made the tackle for the fired-up Fresno State defense. Reminiscent of last night's game down in Hattiesburg. Just when it looked like it's over, it's not over. Boise State led 31-10, but a punt return by Bernard Berrien of Fresno State has them within 2 touchdowns. Friday night fights coming up next. Huge third down. 8 out of 12 tonight on third down, the Broncos. 3rd and 19. Dinwiddie throws it too high for T.J. Acree. And they'll have to punt, and plenty of time left. 6:53 and all 3 timeouts remaining for Fresno State.
Boy, there's that man back there, Berrien.
Yep.
Just having taken one back for a touchdown, he's standing back there again.
And Fresno State's been pretty good at blocking kicks as well, but I don't even think about that now. I set up that return because you're guaranteed just about good field position here.
Berrien from the 46. Could not get away. Nice coverage by Chris Carr. 36-yard punt by Kyle Stringer. Momentum on the side of the Bulldogs, down by 2 scores. You can sense the excitement on the Fresno State sideline. Head coach Pat Hill in his 7th year has done a terrific job. He's looking for a come from behind victory here tonight. Pinniger out and throwing to Marquez Davis for a gain to the 44-yard line of Boise State, about 2 yards short of the first down. Chris Carr made the tackle.
Got time. Take your time, but then you know what? You know they'll try for a hit over the top. Short, and then they'll try boom.
This wouldn't be a bad down to do it. 2nd down and 2. We're in 4-down territory now. 8 catches tonight for Davis. That one thrown behind Bernard Berrien, and he couldn't grab it.
Well, it's amazing how sometimes the carryover. I was down on the field in pregame watching Pinniger and the other quarterbacks throw that exact same route, and that most of the time is exactly where Pinniger was putting the ball, behind the receiver like that. It's amazing sometimes the carryover.
Right now, they have to make sure that in this sequence of plays, if they pick up a first down, they have to hurry, but they can't rush.
Right.
When you rush, you make mistakes, but you can get into a hurry-up mode.
Pinniger throws. Good for the first down to the 40-yard line before Berrien was bounced backward by Nurse. That's a good name because they'll need medical attention after they run into West Nurse all night long.
Stop it, okay?
I know.
Just stop it, boy.
We could start the whole telecast again if you really want to know the truth. Gilligan's Island and burgers and all
Price
kinds
is
of
Right stuff
tonight.
working on, but
Nurses.
you know what? We also may be getting another one of them great Friday finishes.
Yep. I'm just about bet on it here on College Football Friday. From the 40-yard line, under 6 minutes to go. Pinniger running out of time. He did a terrible job there. Had the rush coming right at him. And there's the 3rd sack of the night. Julius Roberts made the sack, but he has to get rid of that ball, and that's from an angle you'd think he would sense that rush.
Well, he had stepped up out of a Julius Roberts rush in the first half when he threw the touchdown. Here you see Roberts coming again. He tried to step up. That ball is out.
And very nearly recovered by Boise State. 2nd and 12.
Well, this is the formation they like with Berrien in the slot. They can get him on the safety. That's where they want to go with him.
There's the slant. That one hit him in stride. First down, 28-yard line. Under 5 minutes to go, but the clock stops to move the chains. Chris Carr dragged him down. Gain of 14.
Boy, if Boise State thought like you, they'd have been all over that play.
Well, I mean, you know, you get him in the slot,
Yeah.
you get a mismatch. You get him matched up against a strong safety or a free safety, and you got to look for that every time. You'll beat that all day.
Who do you like in the fight? I'll take Valenzuela.
I like Ernie.
Yeah, I'm going with Zavala as well. No, you know what? It's going to be a draw.
Underneath. Very short gain for Berrien. Corey Hall made the tackle. And they do need to get in a little bit more of a hurry-up mode here.
And Pat Hill is on the sideline saying exactly that to him. He's waving them into the huddle, out of the huddle, trying to get him going. And now he's down near the 25-yard line. He's almost at the line of scrimmage, trying to tell them, get it going.
10 catches now for Berrien, 85 yards. Out of the gun on second down. Here comes the rush, and they get him back at the 33-yard line. Alex Guerrero and Julius Roberts combining on a huge sack.
Julius Roberts is just absolutely turning the corner. Up at the left ear screen, great swim move over the top. Beautiful move.
And Pinniger's hurt. He's limping off the field. He's going to have to come out of the game. Timeout called by Fresno State with 4 minutes to go. But Jeff Grady will likely come in. He was the starter in the first 5 games of the year when Pinniger was out with a torn pec.
Coming up, the night of bumps and bruises from Fresno continues. Oscar De La Hoya is promoting Friday night fights, and the Golden Boy has an intriguing main event. Juan Valenzuela against Ernie Zabala. I'm Joe Tessitore. Join Kenny Atlas, Max Kellerman, Brian Kenny, and me following the game.
As we're back live in Fresno, Paul Pinniger remains in the game. He limped to the sideline during the timeout, but stays in the game on 3rd down and 14. A blitz. He's going deep. And it is incomplete. Marquez Davis hesitated, did not keep running toward the end zone, did a little stutter step near the goal line. If he'd just stayed in stride, that ball was going to be perfectly on target.
You're absolutely right. He started looking for the ball, couldn't find it, and slowed down while looking for the ball. And that hurt him.
And reason I'll go back even to the play, and I don't like the play, guys. You're in 4-down territory. Now it's 4th and 14. I think you should have got some of that, made it 4th and a little less than what it is right now.
But if he keeps running...
Yeah, you're right.
That's perhaps a touchdown. Showing blitz again. Did they make contact, or was there movement?
Well, it came up like there was a blitz, and the lineman moved, offensive lineman. Now, if it was the defender in the neutral zone when that happened.
Prior to the snap, false start. On the offense, 5-yard penalty, the down is still 4.
So they came up like they were going to blitz, but did not get in the neutral zone, and the left guard flinches.
Yeah, that's Kawika Edwards.
Now, if the defender was in the neutral zone and that happened, then it's going against the defense.
First penalty this half against Fresno State. Edwards' brother Tony played at the University of Nevada and then in the NFL for the Miami Dolphins in the late 80s. 4th down and 19. Pinniger going to this corner of the end zone again, incomplete. Looking for Jermaine Jamison, and Julius Brown had the coverage, and now a flag thrown after the play. Well after the play. Apparently some unsportsmanlike conduct.
Defensive play made by number 6, Julius Brown.
After the play is over, dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct on the defense, and will result on a 15-yard penalty. It will be Boise State.
Yeah, still be Boise State ball.
Yeah, it wasn't physical.
No.
This was probably a little bit of chatting afterwards that went beyond the pale.
Nice play. Julius Brown. You said it, Sean. He's been in position a couple times tonight.
Yep.
To get interceptions, been around the ball.
Nice the right thing there on 4th down, just knock it down.
Absolutely.
Well, Dan Hawkins, we heard the guys at halftime talking about how he is a possible hot commodity on the coaching market. He was a candidate at Oregon State in the last offseason, a job that went to Mike Riley. Here's Heck out to the 25. We'll see if Fresno State uses a timeout. But he's quite content in Boise. They have a lot going for them there. Obviously, their program that continues on the rise. There's talk they may go to the Mountain West Conference.
But you just never know. You know, there's a couple of coaches out there, I think, on the rise. Certainly, Dan Hawkins, a guy like Randy Edsel with Connecticut, got 9 wins out there. He, coached with Jacksonville Jags in the NFL. I think he's another guy that's on the rise. There's a few out there. that could take some steps, start to move up.
Well, he may be content to be at Boise State, but people are going to keep coming around.
Sure, and that'll help him.
Yeah. Well, he's part of that whole tree of guys out of the UC Davis program.
How about a timeout here, Fresno State? And here it is. They have one left. As Heck carried to the 27. Dan Hawkins, a very interesting guy to talk to, very philosophical man at age 43. With more on that, here's Rob Stone.
Philosophical is a great word to use. In fact, that was the word I was going to use.
Oh, sorry.
You know, I appreciate it. I mean, here's
Throw
a guy.
Throw it back. I'll throw it to you again.
I'm going to hang with it, man. I'm going to fight through it. Here's a guy who quoted Gandhi last night in the pregame speech, and he said, real philosophical. He spent the last decade compiling quotes and play charts and flow diagrams and anything in support of what he calls his thesis philosophy. He's compiled them all in a program manual which focuses on the core values and events that makes people successful. He's also a real avid reader. The last book you just got done reading, you guys know the answer?
I do.
What
Should
is
I
it?
say it, or am I going to step on
No,
you
you can. You've already done it once.
John Gruden's book.
Absolutely. And what was the one thing he really got out of it? I'm all about questions.
The importance of practicing at a high tempo.
Man, Sean McDonough pays attention at the meetings. You get a gold star on your refrigerator, Sean. Thank you for taking care of my story.
Not a problem.
You guys done?
You know, you think Rob could audible a little, so we use philosophical. It's just on the fly.
Think of a different word.
Just on the fly. Come up with something else.
Last book you read was Gruden's book?
Yeah.
I'm still getting through about 3 months ago ESPN the magazine.
I was reading something. About John Gruden?
No, just me reading something.
Is that what you read? Not primarily ESPN the magazine?
I haven't gotten through 4 issues ago yet.
I'm listening to the radio, so it's quite apparent that there's not a great breadth of literature in the background there. Dinwiddie stayed in bounds, did not get the first down. And they'll have to punt. If I was Fresno boys, I'd use the last time out. Stop the clock better on offense rather than let all this time run off while you're on defense. So worried about breaking up the fight, apparently.
Yeah. Well,
and this hurts them because they haven't reset the play clock yet. Well, they're sorting all that out.
Funny it's that Richard Marshall was trying to pull the ball out of Dinwiddie's hand to give it to the official to set it quickly so that they could get it going, get the play clock started.
Well, and you're not going to rip the ball from Dinwiddie without getting a little altercation. He's a tough guy.
Would you punt the ball out of bounds here, boys? Why give Berrien another chance to run one back?
No, I just kick it.
Booming kick. Berrien back at the 24. Great coverage. Outstanding tackle. Made by Allen. Brad Allen. The backup free safety comes in nickel situations and does a great job blitzing. Also a great job in punt coverage. He's a sophomore from Eagle, Idaho. Well, another great Friday night moment. This one belongs to Fresno State. Back early in the season on September 5th. Visson-Tainer, one of his 2 game-winning field goals in the final minutes this season to beat Oregon State. 16-14. He also had a game winner against Rice on the last play.
2 weeks after that, Oregon State gave Boise State their only loss of the season to this point, 26-24.
Pinniger throws to the sideline, caught by Berrien. All night long, we've seen those defensive backs from Boise State up within 8 or 10 yards of line of scrimmage. Now they're backing off.
Yeah.
Really for the first time tonight.
Okay, Mike, I have to ask you the question. I know you're going to agree with me. You have to. Boise State, best non-BCS team out there. Better than Bowling Green, better than Miami of Ohio.
Miami of
Is
Ohio.
that a question or a statement?
I think he'll agree with me.
Was it
My
a question or a statement? Oh, it's a statement.
My statement. You can comment on it.
Well, yeah, that's your position. I wasn't sure if you were phrasing that in the form of a question or... What do you think? Miami of Ohio is really good. We've seen them a bunch on ESPN. And,
Miami of Ohio,
they're really good.
They're 14th in the BCS right now. Bowling Green is 20th, and then Boise State's 23rd.
Okay,
the worst thing for Boise State that kills them, their strength of schedule is ranked 113th. If you give me my choice, I'm taking Boise State.
Well, their non-league schedule is pretty weak.
Yeah, it is.
All right.
Idaho State, Idaho. Of course, they're going to play the in-state rival. Wyoming. Pinniger over the middle for Rivera. He's to the 34-yard line with a minute and a half to go.
And on the ball, clock stops till you set everything.
And please don't waste it down by slamming it into the ground.
You hope they learn the lesson
Let it go,
there.
Sean. Let it go.
That hurt them in the first half.
It did. You are absolutely right.
Just move on.
Pinniger to the sideline. Berrien is out of bounds.
Oh, they're giving it
Oh,
to
they
him.
are giving him that. I thought he was waving it
well.
incomplete, but he was waving to stop the clock at the 21-yard line.
They're just running out routes all the way down the field because you're right, Sean. Boise State's just playing back. And this is probably, like we talked about, when they give up a lot of yards when they're up. They just back off, and they're giving you all these routes.
Well, they're just making them bleed the clock.
It's from behind, and sacked is Pinniger for the 5th time tonight. And the timeout called. Travis Berger had the big interception in the first half. Hit Pinniger from the blind side. No timeouts left for the Bulldogs. We'll come back to Fresno for the final minute 12. Right after this. Second down, 17 to go for a first down for Fresno State. A minute 12 remaining. They're out of timeouts and down by 2 touchdowns. From the Boise State 28, Paul Pinniger out of the shotgun. Here comes a blitz again. He throws, and it is almost intercepted.
You guys fighting for the ball.
Nurse and Brown.
Yeah, that should have been ball game right there.
Number 21, Wes Nurse.
That wasn't anywhere near the intended mark.
3rd and 17.
Third down and 17 upcoming.
Well, keep it in front of you. Try and keep them in bounds.
Some of the couple of blitzes here on the last 2 plays. And showing it again and bringing it again. Pinniger runs out of time, hit as he throws. You think with that much time, even though he was hurried certainly, they'd have more guys who might have a chance of being open. But as you look downfield, there's nobody open.
Well, they're playing a 4-deep coverage, covering quarters, and everybody's running deep right into the coverage. And so there's nowhere to go.
Now, this is a situation. I mean, you do have, Berrien is 6'2", Jamison is 6'3", Davis is 6 foot. You have some tall guys, and if they're blitzing, and you got to get rid of the ball, you just have to throw it up there and hope your guy can come down with it.
Well, they blitz for the 4th straight down. Looks like it. Yes, they do.
Lay it up
He
there.
has time. He's throwing it for the corner of the end zone, and it is incomplete. Almost intercepted by Gabriel Franklin. Intended for Berrien. Broncos take over, and they are going to clinch a share of the WAC title. And in all likelihood, guys, they're going to win the whole thing.
I'm going to go out on a
outright.
limb and say they're going to go
All
ahead
they have
and
to do
win
is win one of their last 2 games to win it outright. They have Nevada in Boise on that beautiful blue turf next Saturday. And then they finish up at Hawaii.
So here you go. You have TCU still in there, Miami of Florida, Bowling Green, Boise State, and then Utah is number 24. Those are your non-BCS schools right now in the top 25 of the BCS standings.
So
These guys are
agree?
impressive.
You said Boise State the best non-BCS.
You know what? I'm leaning that way. Miami of Ohio, I don't want to take too much away from the other. Miami of Ohio and TCU, I mean, do we dump right out
Yes.
after the one? Okay.
To take nothing away from them, but I think with their schedule, although these guys have played a pretty weak schedule.
Well, this out of all those teams is by far, strength of schedule, 113th, by far the weakest.
All right, then
not
give me
even
Miami
close.
of Ohio. I'll take Miami of Ohio.
Miami of Ohio, their strength of schedule, by the way, gang, is 55th.
That's better.
Bowling Green, 61. Boise State, 113. Utah, 47. And they throw all those numbers.
Okay,
into
but
the
you've seen both teams play. I don't care about strength of schedule.
I like
Miami
this
of
offense.
Ohio.
I like
But
this
Boise
offense.
State's very good.
Yes, they are.
And 10-1. And at the very least, co-WAC champs. And the Fresno State winning streak over at 4. So they're likely heading for a bowl game. Probably the Silicon Valley game over in San Jose. Final score, 20th ranked Boise State 31 and Fresno State 17. Friday night fights next on ESPN2. That's sort of what I referee up here most of the time. For Rod Gilmore, Mike Golick, Rob Stone, and our entire crew, Sean McDonough saying good night from Fresno. This has been a presentation of ESPN. The